We are now at 6:30. We are on air, audio as well. Yeah. I'm sorry, I cannot hear that. There's a delay. Okay. Okay, thank you. I have really bad hearing. All those concerts and stuff. Very good. Those loud music and, rocking out. All right, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Alrighty. On to 1.3 agenda adjustment. We have two.
Yes, there are two, and I think we might have people here actually for 2.5. So let me see this real quick. We can move them to 7.1. Do we have people here this evening? I don't know. Katie, are you here for the academic decathlon field trip? Okay, great. So we can move you guys to 7. Actually, we'll probably do it earlier than that.
A lot earlier. Yeah.
Wow.
We've
We
got
do
a
5.1.
jam-packed
You guys can supersede my report if that works. Is that okay with you guys? Okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
And then the school calendar is 2.6, but we can move that to 7.4 for new business. Great.
Thanks, Marco.
You're welcome.
Okay, we've had a lot going on, so we have quite a few minutes. Consideration of the minutes to approve the minutes of the February 11th, 2026 Board of Directors meeting. Thank you, Teresa. Discussion? All those in favor? All those abstaining? You are absent, right, Christy? First two, yep. 2.2, to approve the minutes of the February 25th, 2026 Board of Directors budget meeting.
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor? All those abstaining due to absence? You guys all have to remember if you were here or not. So 2.3, to approve the minutes of the March 3rd. To approve the minutes of the March 3rd, 2026 Board of Directors special meeting.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Two dot 4, to approve the minutes of the March 4th, 2026 Board of Directors budget meeting.
Second.
Discussion? Sorry. All those in favor? All those abstaining? Absent? Thanks, Doug. Okay, so now we are on to 3, public comment. We invite the public to come up to speak. If you are going to speak, we ask that you announce your name and the town that you're a resident of, and make sure you are up close and personal with our microphone. Make sure it's on, too. You have to hold the button if it's not. There you go.
I might have to. So I'm Jeremy Young, a teacher at Oak Hill High School. So I'm not a resident of one of the three towns. And I want to start off by thanking you for the work you do for RSU4 and students. I'm an English teacher, as I just mentioned, department head as well. I'm in my 24th year at Oak Hill, and I'm deeply concerned about the proposed cut to the interventionist position at the high school. The interventionist provides targeted one-on-one and small group support for students out of the classroom who are struggling, as well as push-in services during class time as needed. This includes helping students with executive functioning, organization, prioritization, and time management, as well as identifying and addressing gaps in reading, writing, and content knowledge. This oversimplifies the work being done, but the goal is simple: helping students access their coursework successfully. Some students meet with the interventionist regularly, others only when needed, and challenges arise. Some students are even surprised they need help. They may have been successful, even highly, for years before gaps and difficulties emerge. The interventionist is able to respond quickly when those kinds of things appear. In an ideal world, the role isn't necessary. All students would arrive fully prepared, never miss a class, never struggle with reading, writing, organization, or any of the other necessary skills needed to successfully access their education. But that simply isn't the reality. It would also be ideal if teachers always had the time and conditions to provide intensive one-on-one remediation during the school day. But classrooms are busy places. Teachers are responsible for many students at once, and our time outside the classroom is filled with responsibilities such as IEP and 504 meetings, coaching sports, advising clubs, and often covering other classes. Additionally, at this age, students who struggle often require the privacy that an interventionist can offer in order to make real progress. It is difficult for students to ask for necessary help when they feel they're profoundly behind the abilities of their peers, and they know when they are. In the past, I was able to offer some types of intervention that Mr. Cody offers now during study halls and prep periods. And increasingly, though, that is no longer possible. Study halls are being held in the cafeteria. I currently have more than 45 students assigned to me during mine. It's also not conducive to privacy or the type of sustained work required, and our prep periods are frequently used for covering as substitutes. Many of the juniors and seniors who need to check in with an interventionist don't even have study halls available, and certainly not ones that align with my schedule because of LRTC. In removing the interventionist position, we are removing a resource that helps students avoid filling classes, the need to attend vacation and summer school, and ultimately the need to repeat entire courses. This will result in larger class sizes, which will only increase the need for such a position. We'll have less ability to conference with students and provide the in-class tutor interventions we offer now. The proactive intervention Mr. Cody provides helps students succeed in real time, before a failing grade appears on a transcript, before a student needs credit recovery, or summer school, and most importantly, before frustration turns into disengagement and snowballs from there. Over my years at Oak Hill, we have repeatedly created programs to support struggling readers and writers, eliminated them, and later realized we needed to rebuild the supports again. Most recently, when essential classes were removed, we were told their interventionist would help fill the gaps left, and it largely has. The number of students served and the work being done with them is significant. Records demonstrate that Mr. Cody has met with over 70 unique students to this point in the year as part of his one-on-one and small group conferencing. Many of these students continue to work with him regularly. I'm sure the number is actually much higher and exceeds a quarter of our school population. The number of students receiving help and benefiting from it is significant. But the real question is not whether students need this help. We know they do. The question for me is what will happen to the students as the support is no longer there. I worry about them, the students who are struggling, and what will happen to them. If we remove the position, the need doesn't disappear, only the help does. So I urge you to reconsider eliminating the position of interventionist so that students who need timely support can receive it when it matters most, when they are still in the classroom learning alongside their peers. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So I don't think I know many of you, but my name is Jennifer Carville, and I am also an English teacher. Here to speak about the loss of the interventionist position. I've been an English teacher in Oak Hill for 10 years, but I've only worked more specifically with Derek Cody, our interventionist, for the last 5 when I was moved into a freshman English teaching position. I want to acknowledge some of the things that have come up that make this interventionist position invaluable to the work that we do at the high school. In the last 5 years or so, Derek has pulled countless numbers of students into literacy-based testing. These tests typically take 45 minutes to an hour while Derek interviews the student and takes copious notes. The reports that have come out of these tests have led to a variety of solutions for students struggling, not just in English, but with literacy skills across all classes. With Derek's reports, we've been able to give multiple students special education services, communicate with doctors about furthering testing, validate student and parent concerns, and sometimes just help determine the types of assignments that will be most difficult for them to accomplish. They give us additional specific data that help us identify root causes for certain behaviors. Consistently, the data from these reports offer me new ways that students might be struggling with my coursework, and they have insights to offer solutions. I apply this information to modify my instruction to all students. Having an interventionist allows us the unique opportunity to co-teach, especially when a new skill is being taught. Since the Essentials English classes have been phased out, especially freshman and sophomore classes tend to be our biggest groups. And these students are learning new skills. And we expect those skills to be internalized and transferred to writing later on. Derek will often come into class where we're working on these new skills and circulate throughout the room, acting as a second body to conference with students, reiterate directions, problem solve, and offer suggestions. This allows me as a teacher to access all students within a single class period. But what is more valuable is that this allows me time to pinpoint which students will need deeper intervention. Having our interventionist be a part of this process helps him already have specific talking points to cover with students he may meet with separately, whether that's through a study hall, Raider connection, or if we decide it's helpful for them to be pulled from class for small group instruction. These connections, conversations, and observations have helped countless students complete assignments on time and with a level of confidence that they would not have just working with me during a Raider connection period. The last 2 years, I finally realized how much these kids need a second person talking to them about the importance of something. I love having Derek in the room when we're reviewing a unit so that he can help them think more broadly about why what they're doing is valuable. He speaks to my classes about things that I might skip over in a rush to just get through information, like the why behind what we're doing. It always sounds better when it's not just your teacher saying these things. Repetition is important. Finally, I have to speak to Derek himself. I'm sure that there is lots of objective data we could put together about the impact that having an interventionist has on student success. But it also needs to be said that this is not a position that just anyone could fill. Derek has a thoughtful, funny, laid-back personality. He understands the perfect balance of offering suggestions and just listening to student ideas. Our students, especially the ones that struggle, need validation and praise more than anything else. And Derek offers that flawlessly and consistently. When he sits with a student, he leads with questions that help them think more critically about what they're doing and where things might be difficult. He is never condescending. And because he's not a teacher in the students' eyes, he poses less of a threat, creates less anxiety, offers the unique ability to help without making students feel the pressure to be correct or better or faster. The relationships he forms with students are really what lead to their success. Many have relied on his advice on how to manage a series of things that are stressing them out because he's so approachable, and because it becomes obvious after talking to him for 5 minutes that he actually knows how to help them reach their goals. For the last 8 years, Derek has held this position in whatever fashion he's been allowed. The expectations change constantly. But whatever the structure or task at hand, this man has been able to build up student ability and, more importantly, confidence in completing their work. He is an advocate. Students see him as someone who is on their side, someone outside of their classroom who knows what the difficulties are and can actually help fix them without making them feel stupid. Someone who understands where things might be difficult and offers them solutions and opportunities to make it better. Someone who is there for support and will actually give it to them without them having to really ask. And students can continue to refer back to what he teaches them, whether by meeting with him on their own time or just bringing up casually in class. That's what Mr. Cody told me to do, or I learned to do that with Mr. Cody. In closing, the interventionist position may look from the outside like a toss-away job. It may not have numbers and statistics specific enough to convince you of the role it plays in student success. But that is because the interventionist work is so integrated into the work that the teachers at Oak Hill do and the success that students see. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Okay, moving on. Any petitions and communications?
I have none.
Okay. And we are going to go now to 2.5, which was moved to before 5.1.
Correct.
Okay. To approve an overnight trip for the Oak Hill High School Academic Decathlon to Garden Grove, California for the Academic Decathlon National Competition on April 22nd through 27th, 2026.
Second.
Discussion. And I welcome anybody
Yep.
who's here
Come on up,
to come up.
please, and thank you.
Hello, I am Meadow Straw, and I'm here to seek approval for the trip to Garden Groves, California from Academic Decathlon. Yeah, we're like both here. Yeah.
Oh, this is weird.
Just take
Just
the
take-
microphone out.
Yeah, just
There you
slides
go.
right
Yeah,
out.
there we
There you
go.
go.
Hi, I'm Katie Stubbs. I'll be one of the chaperones on this trip, along with Jamie Bushi. These guys want to, or we hope to get your approval for our national trip to California. This will be April 22nd to potentially April 27th. It's going to be during April vacation. It's going to be a long trip, but these guys earned it, especially at the state competition in Massachusetts last weekend, where they placed 6th, which is first time ever we've done that, and they did really well. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Go ahead, Christy. No.
Have you all figured out like flights or how like hotels? What's the risk is what our job is. So tell us about kind of what your plans are so we can make an informed decision.
So we have fundraised for everybody to go. We are working on flights. The world is what it is. We do have hotel rooms booked, and that's kind of what I got.
How many students?
We have 16.
Katie, flights right now. You're just. When do you think that you'll have an idea of what it costs? I mean, you said you have money
Yeah.
to cover it. I'm just
Yes.
curious, like booking those timeline.
Hopefully
thought?
soon. I've definitely been pressing about it, and we're definitely figuring it out.
Mhm.
Like I would say within a couple days, hopefully. But
Mhm.
again, I don't know.
Mhm.
Sure. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I know that with the way, like as Ms. Stubbs mentioned, the way the world is, that like flights are going to get more expensive as we get closer, but we are still continuing to fundraise. I just set up a fundraiser with Aroma Joe's on Lisbon Street, so we are still continuing to work towards this goal and working to accommodate those extra costs that we haven't foreseen exactly yet.
Before you, can you just state your name, please?
My name is Sutton.
Thank
Where-
you.
And Sonny, what town are you from? Just curious. Just for the
Sabatis.
record. Yeah, for the record. Sabatis. Thank you. I didn't ask Meadow. Meadow, what town? Please,
I'm
please.
from Sabatis too.
Thank you.
Do you want to know where I'm from or not?
No.
Okay.
You don't count.
Okay.
You're not
I
you don't
do.
live in the district.
Not at all.
Katie.
No, I'm nearby.
Any
So-
other questions?
Is the district picking up any portion of this as far as has it all come through fundraising?
It's mostly all
And
fundraising.
I
yeah.
know if for some reason you don't hit your goal for fundraising,
Yeah.
are you
I
looking
mean, the hope is that we do. Do you guys want to talk about all the fundraising you've done? Okay.
So I've planned a school dance that was sponsored by Lost Valley to help with some expenses and collect money. That went pretty successful and we earned a lot of profit. And we've also had a sponsorship from Chipotle where a portion of people's food for like a few hours have gone to our proceeds, and that has benefited us also. And do you guys want
Hello, my name is Everett Lindsay. I'm from Litchfield, just for you, Mr. Alberti.
Appreciate
Uh,
that. Thanks, Everett.
Two more fundraisers that we did was a riding a fire truck to school raffle for little kids, like getting the younger side of the community involved, really boosting our funding and also having a good time and helping out little kids to have some bragging rights around the classroom. A second one we did was a sports jersey raffle where we raffled off a signed Pasternak jersey and a Drake May jersey, so go Pats. But yeah, it turned out really well.
We did bingo night, which I think Sunny could probably speak more on than I could, but we did the same thing from Chipotle. I'm from Litchfield. We did the same kind of type of idea that we did with Chipotle, where we partnered with McDonald's in Lewiston, and we received a lot of their profit. We've been doing that, I think, for 4 years now, and that goes really well for us. And because we bring them in a lot of business. We've been selling cups and merchandise throughout the years, which we've had like vinyl cups with different themes on them. And we also, all of the students on our team work to get sponsorships from local businesses. So we're going out to local businesses, banks, restaurants, any like family connections, and meeting people who work there, giving them like letters that we've drafted and asking them if they would be willing to chip in for money for that as well. So it's been from the very, very beginning of the year, like a lot of work that we've put into this and are like continuing to put into this to make sure that everybody gets the same opportunity to go, because we've worked really hard for this.
I definitely agree. I just would like to speak to the future fundraisers that we're doing. Sabatis Regional Credit Union said they were going to donate some money. We are planning to continue our Gallows fundraiser, just like the McDonald's one. This is going to be our 4th year. As I mentioned, the collaboration with Aroma Joe's on Lisbon Street. And also just today I actually went out and collected a couple of checks, which are worth $2,000 in total. So we're definitely working hard to continue fundraising for this trip. And I'd just like to say that I really do want alternates to go, because they've worked to push like the main team to work harder, and also just being a very supportive figures during our state competition.
And I will correct myself really quick. There is about 4,500 from the district going into this.
Go ahead, Teresa, and then Scott.
If someone's listening at home, what is an easy way for them to contribute? Like a GoFundMe or?
We do have a GoFundMe running right now, or sending a check or Venmoing the Academic Decathlon page.
Can you will you guys do me a favor and send me that info We
Of course.
just because in that way I can put it out on district Facebook pages and to the board, and they can put it out different places.
I think it might already be on the Facebook page.
I think it's on the parent page, but I don't think it's on the RSU4 page.
Yeah, regardless, I'm happy to put it out there again. Just put it in front of people's faces. Happy to help.
And
Thank
Scott,
you.
you're next. But
Just
just
one
for, just for those listening, though,
Do
the parent
you-
the
do you have
parent
any
page is not
plan-
RSU4. It's not our sanctioned. Go ahead, Scott.
Do you have any plans to share the experience that you had with your classmates when you return, like during an assembly or anything? Because there may be kids that never get a chance to go to California, so I think it'd be really cool if you guys share that experience.
That's great.
During
Scott,
the
yeah.
assemblies, our team does get recognized, and we announce all the medals we've won and overall how we placed at nationals. Each year, we also talk about just like the general experience that we've had as we are going across the country this year. But each year, we just talk about like what it's like to be in the city or wherever we're going, like little experiences we get to do on the side as well as competing. So overall, it encompasses everything from like how we do in the competition as well as the experience we're gaining by going to a different state.
Sorry, I'll introduce myself. I'm Alex Gothier from Litchfield. And it's just one noteworthy thing to say to that is that academic decathlon is a class that is open to everybody in the high school. So it really could be anybody that could go on the trip. But then again, like if everybody signed up, obviously not everybody would be able to go. But I think we do take pride in, like, we do talk a lot about, like, our accomplishments. Like, everybody in our classes knows, like, it's a very fun experience, and I think that it's very, like, exposed out to the school about, like, the differences of, like, learning stuff.
One thing to add about just, like, the experience in general is the growth that you gain on these trips. I also like to say thank you for allowing us to go last year, because personally I was able to medal in a couple events, and that has really boosted me in confidence and like growth, and just being around the country has just really like enriched me in a way that you can't really get anywhere else.
Any other questions? Did this feel like a decathlon for you a little bit?
You get some points. We'll toss you a medal.
No more questions. I will call for the vote. All those in favor? It is approved.
Yeah, good
Have
luck,
fun.
guys.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Stay
Thank you.
safe.
Thank you,
Do well.
guys.
Keep us posted.
Moving right along. 5.1 Superintendent's report.
All right. Good evening, and thank you for a few moments to share the latest and greatest of RFQ4. The last 2 weeks have been extremely busy with further budget development. As you're aware, we've proceeded at a brisk pace to cover cost centers 1 through 5. Again, I would like to thank all of you involved for your expertise, insight, discussions, and data requests. The process allows for the collaborative development and information sharing, which is powerful, and I look forward to the continued cost centers and the work ahead. Sam and I hosted town managers and select board members to review the budget to date. That was last Thursday at 1. I'd like to commend Sharon as being the only town official to attend the meeting, which allowed us to dive deep. It was actually really great for her to be here for that, because we dived deep into the conversation around the proposed changes to the EPS formula. We do have a standing meeting throughout the budget development process on Thursdays at 1 p.m., and I do encourage any of the town officials who are not able to attend to feel free to join us or reach out for more information. The latest Maine School Management Association legislative update was shared on Tuesday. It highlights testimony for the LD 2226, or the changes to the EPS formula, the governor's supplemental budget, which includes continuing to pay 55% of education costs, and $6 million to equip buses with crossing arms and anti-pinch sensors, And finally, the potential of a $50,000 minimum salary for teachers and a bell-to-bell cell phone ban. I did share the link with everybody for the video. If you do like to watch those types of things and get some more information, it's there. I took part in Read Across America celebration last week by reading books in Ms. Merrifield's class and Ms. Lane's class. I chose a couple of books that I read to my kids or have read to my kids. The Little Blue Truck series. I don't know if anybody's familiar with those, but it's a good one. And Learning to Ski with Mr. McGee, which is a Chris Van Heusen book, I believe. He's the main author. So I was truly appreciative of the opportunity to read to our students, and I must say that they were wonderful. They were great. Lots of questions to ask. They especially wanted to know how old I was, which was fun to share. But they were great as far as like active listeners and sharing in the enjoyment of reading. It was a lot of fun. And lastly, just something I don't know if you guys are aware of or not, but I am a board member of the Western Maine Administrative Consortium, which is the group that reviews and approves administrators' plans for certification renewal. The group consists of administrators from RSU 52, RSU 16, and RSU 4. Jenny Hudner is also on that board. Administrators are expected to present an initial plan for approval, and then once approved, they take the next couple of years to work on their goals, complete their evidence, and present their final plan. It's an extremely beneficial group to be part of, as I get to hear all of the interesting initiatives that each administrator brings to the table. And that concludes my report.
All right. Thank you, Marco. Moving down to 5.4, student representative report. Austin.
Thank you. So for sports right now, we are in the in-between season where winter sports are ending. It was actually very successful. The girls basketball team made it to their championships. The boys made it to prelim. Of course, spring sports will be starting up soon. I know this year girls lacrosse is co-oping with Lewiston. Oak Hill's unified basketball team also just had a game during the school day yesterday, which the whole school attended at the last hour of the day. Although they just barely lost, the team played very well, and the students in the stands showed their immense support, which was amazing to see. It's like the best event every single year. Oak Hill's drama team presented their performance of Radium Girls at the regional one-acts competition this Friday. Their whole show was student-directed, and they won runner-up at this event, with 2 actors winning all cast awards, which is a distinction for extraordinary performers. FBLA's community service team has worked to make a clothing closet and partners with JMG for this. So they collect lightly used clothing to donate, and they're collaborating with JMG to contribute to March Makes a Difference, a donation program that JMG has been very involved with. I won't touch on this too much, but as you heard, Academic Decathlon had their state competition at MIT last Saturday, where they competed against teams from Massachusetts and Connecticut. Our team placed 6th out of 16 teams and won over 12 individual awards. Being the only team from Maine, Oak Hill's team will go on to represent our state at the national competition in Garden Grove, California in April. So the state competition against teams from Massachusetts was kind of like a trial run to get everybody situated on not only what competing looks like, but also how to travel and get along and just kind of get a good testing the waters for our national competition, which I think this is the 6th year that we've gone to nationals, so very exciting. Winter Carnival took place right before February break, and it included events such as creating a movie trailer, painting a ceiling tile, and participating in dress-up days for students. OHLA kind of changed the structure of Winter Carnival a bit this year, with half a day of games taking place on that Friday before break, during which students could earn points towards their grade's overall score. The seniors won this event for the first time since coming in as freshmen, so very exciting last big assembly for our grade. And then 8th grade night will take place on Thursday, March 19th from 6 to 7:30 at the high school. During this time, teachers and current students will show 8th graders around the school and provide information about some of the activities and extracurriculars that Oak Hill offers in preparation for the 8th graders becoming freshmen next year. And that is all that I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Administrator's report.
I've got that covered. Just some highlights. You guys saw that they were in your packets for Friday of last week, but I'm just going to read a couple of highlights from each, just so that the public can hear this information. So starting at the high school, as Aspen mentioned, the Unified All-School Game was held yesterday, right? And I was in attendance for that. It was a wonderful game and super celebration, as far as our students, athletes are concerned. So appreciate. Also, we had the Lost Valley Takeover, a ski and snowboard event that took place. As Aspen also mentioned, March Makes a Difference drive is underway with donations for the animal shelter, clothing, and food. And once again, Aspen covered this. Academic Decathlon competed at MIT and is planning a trip to nationals. Additionally, I'd like to give a shout out to our LRTC students that will compete in Skills USA. That's taking place on Friday, and I never took the opportunity to go when I was a principal at the high school, but I'm going to go on Friday up to Bangor to check it out and see our students compete there, so looking forward to that. At the middle school, they've been doing a school-wide reading challenge for students and staff with a Kindle Fire for a prize for one student from each grade level. School spirit is strong, with 7th grade winning the Spirit Stick at the most recent assembly. And okay, got it. Science classes are participating in engaging activities including March Mammal Madness, and engineering challenges such as an egg drop, a mousetrap cars, and grade 6 heard from a NOAA, meteorologist. Super exciting. Carrie Ricker, pre-K students hosted special visitors from the Senior Center's Knitting Club and began welcoming pre-K ambassadors from the upper grades. Really quickly, Jenny, was this also the mitten tree? Was this also the mitten tree? Yeah, so students were able to get mittens, which was super cool. They had that tree in the office, right? Did they have it in the office? No. In the pre-K room? Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Students celebrated the 100th day of school with challenges, creative writing, and a community goal of 100 acts of kindness. And Read Across America Week included a school-wide scavenger hunt, book buddies with Libby Tozier School, guest readers, including myself, and the kickoff of the One School, One Book program, Fenway and Hattie. And then last but not least, Libby Tozier School, they also celebrated the 100th day of school and Valentine's Day with various activities. They participated in Read Across America Week, which featured a makeshift bookshop, readers theater performance by high school students, guest readers, and a masked reader event, which is, if you've seen the photos of that, it's pretty awesome. And teachers are preparing for spring conferences on March 25th, and the school is planning a math glow night and book fair, which is happening between March 19th and the 26th. And Jan, to put you on the spot, what night is the glow night? March 19th. Excellent. Awesome. That concludes the administrator reports.
Thank you, Marco. Any questions or comments for Marco? Okay. I'll just wait a minute here. Yeah.
Nicole, did we skip over 2.6?
No, we moved it to
Oh, we did,
7.4 at the beginning.
Thanks, Matt, though.
Yeah. Somebody's got to keep me
Somebody's
in
going to
check,
keep us
man.
right, keep us honest, yeah.
I lose sight of these things all the time. Okay, on to our old new business.
Old new business.
can't.
Let's do it.
It's old, but it's new, right? Review the following article cost centers. So we're starting with 6.1, which is 6 system administration. Sam, are you joining us?
Oh, yeah, Sam's going to join us.
Come on down.
You're the next contestant on. What is it?
The Price
the
is
budget,
Right. Yeah, the
RSU4 budget
right.
process. Hooray. All right. So I'll take us through the presentation. Stephanie is working. Oh, Stephanie's already got her thumbs up. She's saying that it's already live and ready to rock and roll for those of you guys watching at home. And then for everybody else, you should have a handout in front of you that has the presentation on it, or it's a handout that is the presentation. And so I'm just going to run through that. I will name the slides as we go through it, just again, so if you're following at home, Stephanie can move it forward so that you can follow. All right. So with that being said, we are here this evening to talk about the main cost centers. So you can see on slide number 1, we're obviously here for our budget discussion. And then slide number 2 are the following items that we'll attempt to cover this evening. So first and foremost, we will cover our data requests from last week. We'll move on to articles or cost center for reviews 6 through 11 and the capital improvement plan. Obviously, depending on what the time is, we'll get through as much as we can. And please remember, after each cost center, Sam will be taking us line by line just to make sure that everybody has a comprehensive view of that cost center. Okay? Moving on to slide number 3, data requests from last week. On to slide number 4. We had 4 board data requests. I'll just review them, and then I do have some of these that I can share verbally with you, just so that you guys have them. I do believe that Sam just handed out to you guys summer school attendance. Is that correct, Sam? Yes. All right, great. So you should have received in the packet technology platforms and the information that went along with that. That was the item itself, the cost, and then it says strategic notes, so some information that goes along with that. There's summer school attendance that Sam just handed out to you guys. That was a data request. Activity fees of surrounding districts. Thanks for Brian, your hard work in getting that information to us. And last but not least, there was some question about the shared counselor or social worker between the middle school and Libby Tozier, and so I have that information to share with you. Before we get to that, though, I would entertain, obviously, any questions that you may have around those first 3 items that are listed, and we can start with technology platforms.
Can you remind me, what does transfers mean? What does it mean for those listed under the transfers?
So, those are not new monies, but monies that were shifted to different departments where they belong, right? So, software specific to library services moved into that library cluster of accounts and away from instructional school technology because it's specific to that program, similar to IXL, NWA, and iObservation. Those live now in the curriculum and instruction lines because that's what that software is specific to, where a bunch of that had really been grouped together in that one instructional technology line noted at the top of the page that you're referring to. So
Okay.
not new funds or programs, but programs that are now allocated to the departments that they service.
Got it. And do we have the costs and information for those as well?
Yeah, I believe.
I don't see them.
Let me look into that. I thought the document that we had kind of a net summary, but looking at this now, it feels like it's not there. So I'm wondering if maybe I cut off the last page because I thought there was like a net impact to the department that I remembered seeing. So that's my bad. If I when I put the pretty new logo on top, maybe I deleted that
Bumped
section.
it down.
Yeah.
I am curious, Sam. Did we cover? We covered some of these in the line by line with technology. So like as far as like the I mean, it's not in a nice one pager like this, but it was the information was in the line by line, if I remember correctly.
It was just lumped more so. This
Correct.
is
Like the places that it moved
Yeah.
to might have been more than one
Teased
thing
out.
there, or there's multiple items within a
Yeah.
line. So knowing what each of them, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Is that an official data request? Starting us off strong, Nicole.
You got it. Let's do it. Okay. Thank you. I have no other questions on this. Anybody else? Go ahead, Robbie. Did you lose your mic? Oh, there. I just saw the empty holder.
Of the 43, 11, and 25 of summer school, how many of those? Sorry.
No,
We
it's
were
okay.
just
Let's
getting there.
no,
You're-
no.
you're-
Oh,
Let's,
okay.
Okay, go
if
for
there's
it.
nothing with technology, we can move on to the summer school
I thought we
attendance.
were- I thought we were
No,
done.
you're good, Robbie. You're good. You're just moving us along. It's all good, man.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can finish.
How
answering.
much of those are credit recovery? Most of them?
For high school in particular,
Yeah.
I mean, I would say almost all of them are for credit recovery. That's the purpose of summer school at the high
Right.
school is
Yep.
credit recovery.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering to make sure, because we want to make sure that they graduate.
Yep.
And they're given the opportunity to.
Yeah, to
and,
get caught up. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
how about in the middle school? Same thing.
So they don't earn credits in middle school. However, it could be that they are, brushing up on skills, but also, potentially of completing a course that they
Right,
didn't
yeah.
finish. Right.
So they might not go for the whole time of summer school.
I'm not sure. I can't speak to that. Michaela is nodding her head. That's correct.
They would go to the whole thing, the whole 2 weeks.
Oh, and Shelley too. Yep. Sorry, Robbie.
Yeah.
You have to. Did you push the button, Shelley?
You have to hold it down.
You have to hold it down. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a wise guy. I've just.
So the middle school program is more targeting social skills, organization, academic interventions, and so it was a 2-week program, and the expectation was participation every day.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Shelley.
So I guess of that 11, how many of those would be like covered under special ed?
Well, there's a separate, I did not get the ESY special ed numbers,
Okay.
that's extended school year. So there are some special ed students who don't qualify for extended school year services, but
Okay.
may participate in a regular summer program. I don't know off the top of my head if that's the case for the middle school. So I don't know, I'd have to go back to the data.
And the 25 in the elementary program?
Yes.
Same thing?
Same thing, that was a 4-week program.
Right.
And the expectation was they would participate for the 4 weeks, and it was very much focused on literacy skills and math skills.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I just ask a clarifying? So these numbers, the 43, 11, and 25, do not include ESY students?
Correct.
Okay.
Does everybody know? I know sometimes we use these acronyms, extended school year. I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of what that is. It's essentially summer school for our special education population, just for the record.
Right, as part of their IEP plan. Yeah.
Thank you, Shelley.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on the summer school attendance data? All right, our next data request.
So the next data request was around activity fees for our surrounding districts. So Brian provided us with a nice spreadsheet for that. I did run it through AI just, for fun to do a summary just to see what it would come up with. And so it just gives us the breakdown essentially, and it might be helpful instead of like looking at all of the spreadsheet. But essentially what it comes down to is there are 9 pay-to-play responses or districts that are out there. That responded to this survey. And then there are district with specific sports fees, and those were 3 responses. And then last but not least, districts that do not require pay to play, there were 45 responses. So overwhelmingly, the school districts that responded to this survey, did not have a requirement for pay to play. Anything else, Brian, about that you can think of? Now that Michaela stole the microphone and gave it to Shelley. No, it's okay. Don't get up. You're all right.
Good evening, everyone. No, the big thing I just wanted to note was that survey was from January of, was it 2025? Or yes. So it was from last January. Just our state association sends them out every so often, so that was just an easy pull because we already had it collected. Most of the individual sports that were pay to play that were mentioned were things like ice hockey or like alpine skiing that have much larger costs to participate in. So those were some of like the isolated, highlighted ones that he had mentioned.
And did it, I don't know if you said it, Marco, or not, did it give you the total that said no, 45?
Yep, 45 right there. Yep.
I missed that. Thank you.
No, it's okay. No problem. Glad to
so
clarify.
Quick math as well. Obviously, there was a large portion of schools in the state who didn't reply to the survey. But, that was the majority, of course, that did. So.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments about the activity fees?
All right, moving on to the shared counselor social worker position between the middle school and Libby Tozier. So I do believe, Christy, you asked about this just to see how things were going. So I threw that out to Michaela and Jan just for their feedback. And so they gave me some information to work from. So just some of the highlights from the information that was shared with me is, that both schools report that current caseloads for guidance and social work are at or near capacity. There are intense student needs, so staff are managing significant mental health issues, social emotional issues, trauma backgrounds, and intensive behavior situations, not always related to disabilities. There's obviously a split schedule, so support staff split time between Libby Tozier and the middle school. And while, obviously the quality of work is praised, the lack of daily presence makes consistency, like daily check-ins, difficult. I would say that both Michaela and Jan would suggest, a full-time guidance counselor. Obviously, that would be wonderful. At the same time, they both acknowledge, right, like a split model is working, in the sense of like within its constraints, and knowing that like, we're in the reality that the budget, may not be able to afford an additional position. You're welcome.
So this position was shared last year with Oak Hill Middle School and Sabatis Primary, which was first and second. Do we think that it has, do we have any idea of how it worked out last year, if they have the same comments? And you probably didn't ask them to speak to it for a year prior, but and if not, do we think it has to do with the fact that Libby Tozier is kindergarten?
I guess I can't necessarily answer that. We can have Jen and Michaela come forward, if you guys don't mind.
I know we don't really have Sabatis.
Right.
So, Michaela, like you worked with Sabatis last year.
Yeah. So last year we had less support from the guidance counselor because we only work kindergarten, and typically they don't work too much with pre-K unless we have a kiddo that has an IEP for social work. We do have increase. So she was there last year about 1.5 days. This year she's assigned to us for about 3 days. So there was an increase. Is that what you're asking from last year?
When we had Sabatis Primary School and Oak Hill Middle School, I worked in both, and so I can say at all times there are full caseloads. There for social work in particular, there's sessions and they have to prioritize IEP students first, and so that is filled to capacity. For our guidance work, that they are also filled, and there's always that situation that comes up when everyone is booked in meetings and there is no one there. So that still happens with the staff that we have. However, we are making best to cover where it's needed. Obviously, if we had more, then we would fill it with more, and we would be able to have more proactive sessions just instead of the high volume of the high needs of what we are getting. So they're doing a good job. They're doing a great job, I should say. But regardless of the school that they're serving, they are filled. And it also depends on the students, and what's happening in their lives and their needs. And so some students may be a high need in one time of the month and then not as much on another time, but then something else pops up too. So we have a lot of needs within the district.
Yeah, it does. So it sounds like, you were explaining, or what was said about this year was the same prior years. So it's not that because it's Libby Tozier and younger.
The split is just different now. Last year we shared with Carrie Ricker. Now with the grade split and how the social worker and guidance counselors have worked it out, the split worked out between the two of us this year. It follows the student needs and where they are. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Any other questions in regards to the data requests there, gang? No? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to slide number 5. Just believe where we're at. So slide number 5 is Article or Cost Center 6, System Administration. If you slide to slide number 6, Cost Center 6, System Administration staff includes the Office of the Superintendent staff, superintendent, the administrative assistant to the superintendent, our business department staff, the business manager, payroll specialist, accounts payable specialist. Slide number 7 talks about Cost Center 6 and other expenditures. So other things included in this cost center are legal and audit fees, school board costs, the ADS accounting software, frontline absent management and timesheet software, employee training and travel reimbursement, office supplies, staff appreciation funds, dues and memberships, postage, and copier lease. Slide number 8 moves on to Cost Center 6 notes. We have our PFML premiums for all staff, our health insurance premium increase for all staff. We have negotiated increases for all staff, industry increases for legal and audit services, and a projected 10% increase for liability insurance. If you move on to slide number 9, you can see there's a difference there as far as our summary for administration, summary for system administration for fiscal year 26. It's $800,097, and our proposed for FY27 is $821,784, an increase of $21,687. Any questions about the overview in particular? And then Sam's going to take us on the line by line. Is it okay? Robbie.
Just to clarify, I see a lot of you looking around. We handed out these line-by-line cost centers last time, but seeing you all look around, we are making extra copies. So those will be out as soon as they're done running. And we had them prepared for last time, didn't get to them, so I just didn't redundantly copy, but they'll be coming in just a moment.
Yeah, Dennis, I thought you looked like a kid in class going, oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Yeah, exactly. That was good. That was good. Go for it, Robbie.
Marco, the perception in the community when we go to the budget meetings is that we're way overstaffed at central office. So looking at these numbers of central office, losing one person in this category would definitely put a bind on everybody else in central office.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're speaking of the data specialist. Is that correct, Robbie? And Sam will correct me if I'm wrong about this, but that data specialist position is not included in this cost center. It is cost center 5. She just whispered that to me as she walked by. So cost center 5. So it's not a reduction to the system administration cost center is technology.
But I'm talking about the general perception.
About the position is
that the whole office is overstaffed.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
got you,
simply
Robbie.
not accurate.
Yeah. So the other thing is, to Robbie's point, that, and I appreciate you saying it again so that I get it, right? So that position is housed here at central office. That is correct, Robbie. Yes. Yeah. And then obviously if that position's no longer included in the budget, that means that it's no longer here at central office. And one of the things that you'll always hear, and I know that Sam brings this up when we talk about the audit, is the division of labor between, all of the different parts of our business office, and how we, the auditors always say we need more people as far as that process is concerned. So just want to make sure that people understand that, we're doing a really solid job with the people that we have. And as you said, Robbie, that position, the data specialist, is housed here at central office and would not be obviously housed here if it were to be reduced. All right, Sam, I'll turn it. Well, I'm sorry. Were there any other questions in regards to the overview? And then Sam will take us line by line. All right. Has everybody got cost center 6? Yeah? All right.
All right. So we're going to start with that detailed budget report. I did furnish you all with a tool, if it helps. You've got a ruler that has a magnifying glass, and I saw some of you bringing your own. So I'll collect those from you at the end, so that we always have them here. But hopefully that'll help a little bit. Should magnify each line we're looking at and make sure that it's going straight across. All right, so that's on your desk there. So looking at cost center 6, it's broken down into 3 clusters of accounts. So the first cluster is your cluster. It's school board and some overhead costs related to district operations. Then the second cluster of accounts is specific to the Office of the Superintendent, and the third and final cluster of accounts represents the Fiscal Services Office. So starting with the first cluster, the school committee, lines 1 to 4 are the tax and related, or the salary and related benefits. The salary is a strong word because you guys know what you receive for your honorarium, but for you all, right? So that's the combined honorarium amount. We adjust it annually based on the number of meetings that we have, et cetera. And then starting with line 5 going down through 13, those are the discretionary district-wide overhead lines that represent some of the things that Marco noted. So line 5 is legal services. Looking at the rates, we are projecting about a 5% increase to those legal costs. Line 6 is our audit services. So we pay for our professional auditors to come in annually, and that industry is in high demand right now, and that projected increase is 10% for next year. We also cover our liability insurance. So our district insurance portfolio is covered in several different cost centers. You'll see in the maintenance and facilities cost center, the building and contents portion of that. In transportation, you'll see our auto insurance coverage. But this specifically is the liability insurance. So we do project a 10% increase for our insurance coverage across the board through our carrier. Line 8 is an advertising line that we use for things like serving schools. Indeed, if we needed to place an RFP or an RFQ in the various newspaper outlets. And then we have a supply line, dues and fees. This represents your main school board association dues. And then we have conference fees, which remain static over last year. And we do have a secondary legal services line. This one is specifically for legal services support with staff negotiations. We've also left that static because we don't have an additional contract that we're negotiating next year. It'll be just one. And I'll pause there and see if you have any questions about that cluster of accounts. Doug?
Board conference fees. Can that one be explained, please?
Yep. So every year we come to you and we say the annual MSSA conference, MSMA conference is coming up, and we ask if there's anyone that would like to participate. You know, we have had a fair amount of changeover in the board, and anyone who is new to the position would significantly benefit from those learnings. So that covers some of the fees associated with that. Additionally, if there were other learning opportunities that the board wanted to pursue, the work that you all do to support the district is very important, and we want to make sure that you have what you need for those professional development opportunities. Additionally, if anyone was new to a subcommittee like negotiations, invaluable professional development to support the district for those things as well. I think I saw Christy and then Matt.
Matt, then Christy.
Oh, Matt.
Sorry. Oh, wait, did Christy have it up before and put it down?
That's okay, Matt can go.
Christy, then Matt.
It'll be
Rock,
quick.
paper, scissors, right?
The MSBA membership dues, is that a required membership that we have to have?
I can get the answer to that. I'm not certain of that.
That was my question.
My second question is, as a school committee or whatever, we're school committee on this budget, can we absorb 100% of our PFMLA premium? I know it's only like $25, but I don't feel like the district I don't feel like the district should have to pay for the insurance that we're not even going to be able to use as members of, and it's cents on our $25 an hour. So as
so
the
we'll pay it. We'll take
pay
it on
100%.
100%. You guys, the district doesn't have to
Yes.
pay for our PFML.
Yes.
So we're gonna look into
We
that.
can look into it. We can look into it.
Yeah, the statute is that the employer contributes at least 50%.
We'll see if okay.
That's what you're looking at. Mhm. Mhm. Well, it's so 0.425% is half of our rate.
Oh, the mic.
I'll say that out loud.
No, you're good.
Yeah. It's silly. Oh. So in the notes it says 0.425% is what we're paying and the district pays the remainder. I think it's silly, but
Yeah, so just remember, it's not the remainder out of 1 full percent because we went with the private plan. Our rate is 0.85, so it's half of 0.85. It's an equal 50-50 split, but it's a lower percentage that we got going through the private plan than the state 1%.
and I know we're talking about literal pennies, but it just feels
No,
like
I understand.
good faith
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like
I think we should ask.
We'll look into it. There should be a limit too, like a threshold, but there isn't. Go ahead, Teresa.
I'm not a fan of the conference fees that we're taking $1,200 to go to a conference. I know it's a great conference, especially for new board members. I'm wondering if in the future maybe those that have attended could maybe try and share back the most important things that they learned.
Yeah, we could do a workshop presentation if one goes. What if? It looks like 3 years ago it was 300 for our actual. I don't know what the.
Yeah, because probably only one person went.
That's what I'm wondering, and I don't know what
Only
they
one
were
person.
charging last year. But
It
we
was
could
300. I think it was close to $300.
a little bit more,
Sam
maybe.
thinks it's a little more. Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned to you guys, like, when I came back from that, like, I would love for everybody to go. I get it, obviously, like, people are doing other things. They have other responsibilities. But, like, I know some of you guys have, like, a real interest in, you know, the law and cases and stuff like that. And they cover a lot of that stuff, which is super interesting if you're into it. So I would encourage, like, even if it was one of you guys going with me, that would be fun. It'd be a good. I mean, if you know how to have a good time. Educational
Listening,
policy.
Yeah, listening to speakers. I mean, we
Right.
could.
Chrissy's gonna nerd out on it.
I would totally nerd out on it.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, but I don't think it's worth $1,200. We should put that money back in the classroom.
Yeah, we can still reduce this to allow for
One board member.
and then that one, if whoever goes, if we choose to go, would do a presentation for the rest of the board.
I'm looking forward to it, Matt. You doing the presentation?
Go ahead, Doug. Just
to add to that, if 2 or 3 members, they could divide the 300 between and then pay. Can the board members pay whatever? Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I guess.
If there are other people that want to go.
Yeah.
Right. If we only budget 300 and 3 want to go, and you want to split it and just pay the rest after the 100, I think we could absolutely consider doing that as well.
Throwing that out there. Yeah, as an
or you could pay fully.
So we'll find out what the most recent rate
Yeah.
was and budget maybe a little bit more in there. Whether maybe it's $400 or $450, just to make sure that we're covering the cost for one person. Yep, that's not an issue.
We can do that.
Happy to do it. Go ahead.
I just heard Christy saying put the rest back in the classroom so we could put the difference back into PD for teachers.
Go ahead, Scott.
Just remind me, maybe somebody knows, the school committee stipend. Was that required by policy, or is that required by
Statute. Law.
statute, or by board policy? No, I understand that. I know I'm a
State statute.
It's
State law.
statute.
Yes. Because I've been every year, I'm like, can you just eliminate that? And we can't because and we get the minimum, which is $25. Other districts get paid more, which is crazy.
And I appreciate it, what you guys do for $25 a meeting. Thank you.
It's only
Okay,
regular
oh.
meetings, not workshops. Right, exactly.
Okay.
Just-
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just so we don't add meetings just to get paid, right?
I mean, it was my suggestion, just do it as part of your civic duty, but.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, we'll move on to the Office of the Superintendent cluster of accounts. So that starts with line 14. This represents 2 employees, your superintendent and the administrative assistant to the superintendent. So those salary and benefit lines carry from line 14 down to line 39. And then line 40 starts the discretionary lines for that office. You'll notice that several of these lines look like maintenance lines or building operations lines. So remember, a couple of years ago, those were moved to Cost Center 9 where they belong. So you'll see those zeroed out. They're kind of sporadic and sprinkled throughout, but you'll notice them. Some lines of note. Just making an effort to stay consistent with the schools, reducing supply lines. There's been a slight reduction to the supply line at the central office. And line 55 represents the Maine School Superintendents Association and the Western Maine Education Consortium Superintendent dues. We do also cover a small portion of the copier lease with the 2 machines that we have here at central office. Any questions in that cluster of accounts?
What is the lease rental for line 44?
That is the postage meter. So a couple of years ago, I believe last year actually, we reduced down to 4 district-wide. So there are some schools that share. Libby Tozier and Carrie Ricker share a postage meter. We have 1 here at the central office and 1 at the middle school, 1 at the high school. But that is what we zip all of our mailers through that are going home, going out in the mail. And yeah, we went down. I think we went from 7 machines 3 years ago down to 4 to consolidate. Hearing no other questions, the final cluster of accounts in Cost Center 6 is the Fiscal Services Office. So this represents 3 staff members. It's your business manager, payroll specialist, and an accounts payable specialist. So the salary and related benefits for those positions start with line 56 and continue down to line 73. And the discretionary lines for that cluster of accounts start with line 74 and continue to the end of your cost center summary sheet here. If I can flip the page. Oh, I don't need to flip the page to line 81. So you will notice that at the bottom there, just jumping to that, we will be recommending not going forward with a revenue anticipation note this year. That's the first time in quite a number of years that we'll recommend that, just based on how we've positioned ourselves with our cash flow. So that allowed us to reduce that line because they, in recent years, have created a non-utilization fee for that we weren't paying in years past. But in this section, you'll notice that our contracted services line that covers our frontline time and attendance platform that we use for employees to clock in and out and log absences. And it also covers our accounting software for the Fiscal Services Office. Those are projected to increase slightly for next year. And then we reviewed as a department our supply requests and were able to find an alternate vendor for our tax forms and our payroll and AP checks that will allow us to save a little bit of money and could reduce there in line 78. Any questions on that cluster of accounts? Christy?
Line 58, stipends, retirement incentives. Is that just for this department or is it for the entire district? Tell us a little bit more.
Yep. So thank you. It's a good pickup. I meant to make note of that. So there was also a retirement incentives line in Cost Center 1. It's just nested at the middle school. So we have 2 places where we're holding money for retirements, but they cover all of the staff within the district as retirements pop up.
So is it an incentive or is it a benefit, a retirement benefit? Are you incentivizing people to retire early?
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. No. It's not like a please stop working so we can hire someone cheaper. Nope, that's not what that is. Seeing no other questions, the grand total for Cost Center 6, Marco reviewed, up just under 3%. And then that takes us back to the presentation for Cost Center 7.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. So we'll move on to slide number 10, article or Cost Center 7, which is school administration. Slide 11, Cost Center 7, again, school administration staff. These are your building principals and assistant principals, administrative assistants to the principals. Slide 12, other expenditures within Cost Center 7 are postage and postage meters, office supplies, dues and fees, staff recognition, travel reimbursement, professional development, books and periodicals, and graduation supplies and services. Slide 13, just some cost center notes there. Again, our PFML premiums for all staff, our health insurance premium increase for all staff, and negotiated increases for all staff, an increase in costs for graduation supplies and services. Slide 14 just gives you the breakdown in regards to year over year. So fiscal year 26, we were at $1,148,591, and fiscal year 27 proposed is $1,143,147. So a difference of $5,446 less. That's the difference. Yep, it means less. All right. So any questions about the overview? Otherwise, we'll jump into the line by line.
All right. So
All right, Sam, take it away.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll be looking at the budget report with Cost Center 7 at the top. So this Cost Center is organized by school, so like you've seen with some of the others, we'll go through Carey Ricker, then the middle school, right down through the high school. The only place that you'll see graduation associated costs will be at the high school, the very end, so we'll talk about those a little bit separately. So starting with line 1, this represents the staffing for the office of the principal at Carey Ricker. So we have a full-time principal. We had this year a full-time administrative assistant budgeted, but we noted before when we were talking about Cost Center 2 that we found a flexible or alternative solution to providing more office support by taking a current employee that was an ed tech at Carey Ricker and moving 0.25% of their time and salary over to clerical support in the office. So they lend support there with the increase in volume of students, parent calls, etc. But it's not a new staff, it's just a staff member who is now split differently. So you'll see that slight increase comparable in those staff lines. So the staff and benefit lines for Carey Ricker Office of the Principal go down through line 26. And then lines 27 through 33 represent the discretionary lines for Carey Ricker. So similar to what you saw in Cost Center 6, that line 28, that lease rental is also a postage meter. So that particular device is shared between Libby Tozier and Carey Ricker. There are no requests for professional development through this office this year, and no associated travel for professional development. So those lines are zeroed out for FY27. There is increase to the postage request due to additional mailing home of report cards and more students being at Carey Ricker than in years past. Like we've seen with all of the supply lines across the board, an honest effort to reduce those supplies and come in with, what's really needed. And then the dues and fees memberships represent the main Principals Association dues for Carey Ricker. Any questions in that cluster of accounts? The next group is the middle school. So starting with line 34, the salary and benefits for the middle school office of the principal runs through line 58. So in the office of the principal, we have a full-time principal, an assistant principal, and as of last year, 2 administrative assistants. So the Sabattis primary administrative assistant was brought over to the middle school because there was no clerical support added at that school when it became 4 grade levels a number of years ago. Just a reminder that the Dean of Students is budgeted in Cost Center 1. And then the discretionary lines for the middle school office of the principal begin with line 59 and continue to line 67. Very similar lines to Carey Ricker. There is employee development and training request here at the middle school. They also have a postage meter rental, that's line 60. The postage budget line was adjusted to be in line with actuals. And then the furniture request from line 66, that was fulfilled in this fiscal year, so not asked for again in FY27. And then line 67 is dues and fees, so that represents your main Principals Association dues, but it also represents a mentor program for one of our administrators. That wasn't a new program or new budget request. It was moved from employee training and development into where it was coded this year in the dues and fees. So not a new ask, just moved to a different budget line. So if you're looking for the difference, I'll find you that line number. Line 59, you should see a congruent decrease there. Any questions on that cluster of accounts?
Line 65, books and periodicals. I know we see that instruction, and I didn't see it in Carey Ricker, so I'm just curious. I know it's only $200, but I'm just curious as to what that would be for.
Yeah, so each of the office of the principals have this account line, and it's distinct from instructional books and periodicals. It represents maybe a school-wide, pedagogy book that they want to do a book study with their teachers. So I believe this money is specific to an Oak Hill Middle School request that Michaela would like to do with her staff next year.
Okay. And the mentor program, how long have we had that in line 59? And is that something that we expend every year?
We've expended it for the last 2 years. Okay. Okay, thank you for clarifying. So I'll just repeat since Michaela didn't have a microphone. It's a 2-year program, so we've expended it this year, and next year will be the second year. But it was budgeted in that employee training and development line, I believe, last year. So it's moved into the line where it was coded.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
All right, hearing none. Libby Tozier starts with line 68. And the salary and benefit lines for the office of the principal at Libby Tozier continue through line 91. So we have a full-time principal at Libby Tozier, and we have a full-time administrative assistant. The discretionary lines for this cluster of account, very similar to the other schools. Start with line 92 and go down to line 99. So there is a request for the MPA conference for this office of the principal. You'll notice the lease rental line has been zeroed out for 2 years. That represents the consolidation. So Libby Tozier shares their postage meter with Carrie Ricker. They do, however, pay for a portion of the postage that is uploaded into that machine, so that they're paying for what they're sending home when they run it through the machine. And then there's some monies set aside for travel for the MPA conference, a reduction to supplies for the office of the principal, and then a budget amount for MPA dues in line 99. Questions on the Libby Tozier cluster of accounts? Go ahead.
Not specifically to Libby Tozier, but so all of the offices of the principals are all paying MPA dues. Why aren't they consistent?
Some might represent different numbers of dues. So if you have an assistant principal and a principal, then you're paying for 2 sets of dues and they have different rates. I'm not sure what the differential is between a principal and an assistant principal, but they're slightly different. And then I think there's different tiers of membership. So some of it is national membership and some of it's just state. So it's what they elect to participate in. Great question. Line 100 is your Sabatis primary account. So you'll see that office of the principal zeroed out this year and into FY27. That goes down through line 121. And then it brings us to our last cluster of accounts in Cost Center 7 for the high school. So the salary and benefit lines for the office of the principal start with line 122 and continue through line 146. So in that office, we have a full-time principal, an assistant principal, and 1 administrative assistant. So there are 2 administrative assistants at the high school, but 1 is designated specifically for guidance and was in Cost Center 5 when we reviewed that. And then the discretionary lines for the high school start with line 147 and continue to 157. So pausing there just at the end, line 156 and 157 are the specific graduation lines. So there's contracted services, which represent like the audio visual, the rental of the civic center, other services that are used to support the graduation ceremony. And then there's also a supply line that covers diplomas, caps and gowns, those types of things. So bumping back up to the start, we do have a request for employee training and development for the AP conference. So just a bit of background. So we talked about instructional employee professional development requests being centralized through the Office of Curriculum Assessment and Instruction. So these are specific cost centers where the PD requests have been left in the cost center itself, but there was a very specific ask to make sure that we are doing professional development on a rotating basis. So rather than if there's 3 professionals in that department, all 3 are putting in for conference fees and travel, we requested, or Mr. Aliberti requested, that there be a rotation, and 1 year one administrator would go, the next another. Kind of like you mentioned with the board conference, if one person goes, they can bring back knowledge, and then we're spreading our funds a little bit further. So line 148, the high school is unique. They have the postage meter, but they also have a P.O. box. So that rental is covered in line 148 as well. And then a consistent supply request to last year. A small request for a new office chair in that office. And dues and fees memberships. These represent some of our high school memberships to, I always get it right, is it MVC, Marco? Yeah.
Mountain Valley Conference, yes.
Thank you. There we go. Questions on the high school cluster of accounts?
Why do we have a P.O. box for high school and nobody else? And what do we use it for?
I don't know that I can answer that question. Sheena says she knows, which is interesting. Sheena, your cost center's next. Says transportation. How do you know about the post office
Because
box?
we pick up the interoffice mail.
Ah.
So the post office won't come to the high school, from what we've been told. I've tried myself to do that, and they will not do that. So we pick up packages, and a lot of them, and bring them to the high school.
What about? I know at one point in time, now that you've said this, that we asked about like if we just put a mailbox out, like would they deliver to the mailbox?
They said no.
That's the Sabatis post office.
Is it Sabatis or is it Lisbon?
Lisbon.
Through Lisbon and Sabatis.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's the hang up? I'd like to, I mean, what is a government building? Like, it's taxpayer funded. Like, so is the postal service to an extent. Like,
should be allowed to have your own
right.
mailbox.
That's just foolish.
Their reasoning, I'm not sure of.
We can inquire about it. It's no problem.
I'd be happy to. Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'll go down there.
Jeez.
They don't answer the phone.
They don't.
Yeah, they're not easy to work with.
Is it the Lisbon one near the credit union in Lisbon?
Yeah.
Scott, we can go together.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
A little field trip.
Day trip.
Good cop, bad cop.
Bad cop, bad cop.
Not the Lisbon Falls post office. Okay, yeah, no, the one on 196.
I'm happy to look into that. That's not a problem. And Sheena, thanks so much for your expertise on post office boxes.
Teresa had her hand up.
Okay.
My question was, why do we have a post office box?
Look at that. We're all asking the same questions tonight. Go ahead, Scott.
So this is kind of along the same lines. I added it up, $14,150 for postage. Have we thought about doing paperless and opt out for report cards and such to reduce that number? Like, I can't even tell you the last time I bought a stamp. I don't recall. I mean, that's $14,150. That's a good chunk of change. I mean, I know you can't get rid of it, but
opting out is great.
I don't know why you couldn't cut that in half.
Yeah. I would say that we're working hard to drive people to, our technology is what it comes down to, especially our student information system, Power School, right? And I would say, you get that participation probably middle school through high school pretty well. I'm not going to say like all the time, but it's like, as the kids get older and their grades become maybe a more indicator as far as like, earning credits and things of that nature, people tend to pay more attention and want to make sure that things are taken care of. So we're trying to drive people to our technology so that they're using it, so we don't have to mail as much. And go ahead, Stephanie. I can see that you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
So once we fully implement Reach My Teach, we will have the ability to send reports through that. So we've rolled it out at the high school, middle school, and we're working at elementary right now.
Yeah, you had to carry it home, and
Robbie,
they knew it was
did
coming,
it
too.
did it get home?
It got home.
It had to make it home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to.
Along those, did you have any other questions, Scott?
No, it's a good
Okay.
point, Scott. I mean, it's something that we're working hard on because we know it is a cost. And, it's like I said, we have excellent technology programs. Just need people to use them and utilize them.
I mean, can you send out maybe a survey to gauge the public as far as, or the student,
The parents.
yeah, about if they would want to have a paperless option.
Right.
I mean, I know we don't. Everything comes electronically, and so it's like it's just redundant. Number one, and number two, we're getting the electronic before we get the paper. So what happens to the paper?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes in the box to go into the wood stove. That's just what it is. You know, and I don't send letters. I send emails. I sign contracts with all
Yeah,
electronic. means.
DocuSign. Yeah. They got you.
Along those lines, though, I would request ease of access. I think that's part of the challenge. I've said this before. I don't even know how to access Power School. I've tried. I could do it for one kid, not the other. I mean, they're in elementary, so I'm not, I get their.
Are we mailing things to you?
Yeah, I got the mail. I got the report card in the mail, and I was shocked. I didn't know why that happened. So, perfectly happy with using technology, but I am technology unsavvy, right? I need help. I can't and single sign-on would be super awesome. All these different sign-ons and usernames.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Stephanie.
I can't fix single sign-on for parents on Power School, but it is coming for students and teachers. Sorry.
Oh, that's nice.
You could use 1Password or something.
Yeah, and then for Reach My Teach, it will come directly to your preference, so email or phone. So.
Yeah, so just some helpful hints with things like that and all the different, that's kind of why I request these technology.
I think there was even
lists.
an email that went out that said paper report cards were coming. That's
Yeah.
like,
I did get it in the mail, so.
Just a heads up.
Yeah. Heads up, you're gonna get some mail.
Check your email. check your mail.
Snail mail. It's coming straight from the Lisbon post office.
I mean, the same thing for the
May or may not get
newsletters
it.
too, though, right? There's costs with printing those newsletters that go home, and I get it in my email. I
Yeah.
can't get you out of my spam, though. I say not junk every time, but we can opt out of receiving those on paper. I know that's probably going to be difficult and challenging for the teachers if they're the ones stuffing it, but I mean it goes right in the.
We can continue to work on it, right? There's no issue whatsoever with that.
Those will also come from Reach My Teach, so they will all come from the same working on it for next year. Yes.
Nice.
Oh, also, what's the? And I apologize, Stephanie. What's the Power School? It's like e-documents, so people can fill out everything just right online.
Yeah,
Just-
back to school forms
Yeah.
next year will all be online.
Yes.
And so
I do
will
that.
help parents
E-collect.
with enrollments, kindergarten, pre-K, new students, and then all of the back to school forms.
Yeah, we use it, or I use it as a parent. For I update it each year for my kids through that e-documents, and it's extremely helpful. It's easy. You just sit down and do it. There's no back and forth with the papers or trusting my kids, who maybe are unlike Robbie with their responsibility to get things to and from school.
Yeah, I had to yell at my son to bring the financial paper. It sat in his folder for like 2 weeks at the first of school. I'm like, bring it back. So, anything else? Moving right
rolling.
along. Feel free
Nice
to
job,
take
everybody.
breaks as you need. Just step away and come back. Don't just step away.
All right, we'll move on to Cost Center 8, transportation, something that Sheena is also an expert at, not only post office boxes, which is good. I do appreciate the help with that, Sheena. I'm like, I have no idea, but that's why we have one. Anyway, just overview-wise, we're on slide 15. Again, this is cost center 8, transportation. Slide 16 is transportation staff. So that is a director of transportation, head bus driver, and bus drivers. Slide 17, cost center 8, other expenditures within this cost center are the AAA fire inspections, and so those are for our fire extinguishers on the school buses. Occupational health. Ooh, what's DISA 360? Help me out with that. DISA 360. I don't know what that is. I know what Bus Right and Easy Pass are.
Drug and alcohol pool. So we keep DISA 360 is.
Yeah, you're good. Oh yeah, we got you, Sheena.
Is where they send us an email quarterly, and they let us know who got pulled for a random. We send them off.
Great, thank you very much. Tires repair and maintenance, bus garage lease, utilities and snow removal, insurance for buses and district vehicles, transportation supplies, bus fuel, radio tower lease, special education and homeless transportation costs. Slide 18 highlights cost center 8 notes. This is your PFML premiums for all staff, health insurance premium increase for all staff, negotiated increases for all staff, reallocation of salary to bus mechanic salary lines, which we'll explain in line by line, a projected 10% increase for auto insurance, adjustments to reflect bus garage versus repairs and maintenance. Slide number 19 is the overall comparison. Fiscal year 26 was $1,422,012. Fiscal year 27 proposed is $1,402,345, which is a decrease in $19,667. Any questions in regards to the overview of Cost Center 8? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the line by line. Sam?
Before I start the line by line on the budget report, I did just want to note, I'm sure you saw it in the documents for tonight's meeting, that in addition to Sheena's budget summary for her cost center, she also provided you a summary of the breakdown of the bus garage that is new this year. So remember that that was not something we budgeted for last year because we didn't bring it to fruition until after the budget process came to a close. So this year's budget reflects those changes, and in case you wanted the additional detail, that's there in tonight's meeting folder, and it will be available to the public as well when we make those links live for tonight's meeting tomorrow morning. So looking at the Cost Center 8 budget report, transportation is a district-wide service, so the breakdown here is not by school, it's just district-wide, and then there are two very small single account line categories at the end of the department for special ed transportation and homeless transportation. Transportation, according to the state, is kind of unique in that whether it's special ed or homeless or any type of transportation, the state dictates that it lives here in this cost center. So this is the only special education cost that you will not see qualified in cost center 2. Okay. I'll also draw your attention to new lines throughout the cost center that have been created and budgeted for relative to that bus garage. So you can kind of cross-reference that with your review of that breakdown that Sheena provided. So salary and benefit lines for the department start with line 1 and continue through line 29. So you will see new lines. Number 4 is the bus mechanic line. So we've been using that account line, but now we are allocating a half of one of our full-time bus drivers to that salary line to reflect the split of that employee's work. And so 0.5 of a bus driver has come away from line 3 and moved into line 4. We have also reallocated line 5, the head bus driver stipend, because that employee is an hourly employee properly. The stipend should be awarded through an additional hourly wage rather than a flat stipend. That's just more in line with labor law. So that's moved up to line 3 as well this year. And then the benefit and and tax lines for those employees, like I said, carry through line 29. And then line 30 starts the discretionary lines for this department. And as we walk through them, like I said, I'll just point out ones that are new in response to doing a lot of our repair and maintenance in-house rather than sending out. So line 30 is purchase professional services. That covers the AAA inspections that Superintendent Aliberti mentioned, but it also covers our contractual reimbursement for our staff fingerprinting in the department. Line 31, contracted services, covers quite a bit. Some of that is new money for the support of the bus garage. So like the disposal, the trash disposal, they're having a dumpster, that's new. But some of those things have been there in previous fiscal years. Armor, bus rate, DISA 360, Easy Pass, occupational health, those are recurring costs from last fiscal year. Line 32, you'll notice is a new line. You'll see it zeroed out prior to this budget year. So we are currently paying a contracted price for snow removal at the bus garage, but we are budgeting for that next year. Line 33 is your line designated for replacement of bus tires and the related labor. So Sheena has reduced that amount and trying to utilize this current fiscal year funds to pay forward or buy forward additional tires or replace them at the end of this fiscal year rather than in FY27 to bring that line down. Line 35 is the lease rental for the bus garage. So that's a new line. You'll see it zeroed out. Again, we are expending that, but we are under expending repairs and maintenance lines in order to cover the cost of that bus garage. And then line 37, similar to all of our insurance lines district-wide, right? The projected increase for our insurance package next year is 10%. A slight reduction to the telephone line to be in line with actuals. Consistent travel reimbursement budgeted for next year. And then line 40 represents travel for professional development, but you may have noticed that the actual cost for professional development wasn't above like you saw in the other cost centers. If you go down to the dues and fees line, that dues and fees in line 46, the MAPT membership includes that annual conference fee, so all we have to pay is the associated travel for that annual conference, which I believe you just had, right? Line 41 sees a slight increase to the supply request to be in line with actuals. And then line 42 is the energy line, the electricity line for the buses. So we have always paid for our electricity for the buses to be charged, but prior to this fiscal year, it was being charged to the Sabattis primary electricity line. So you might remember that from last year that we discussed this would be a new line and that it would represent those electricity costs. So projection for next year is to keep that consistent and those electricity expenses related to the bus garage rather than the charging specifically at the town of Sabattis, I believe is where it had been. Line 43 is a new line, so there's a small liquid fuel amount to heat the bus garage throughout the year. Line 44 is the energy for our bus fuel, so that's reduced with Sheena's analysis of projected fuel use. So I believe consolidating some of the runs and not having SPS open, we realized some savings with that, so she's projecting a little bit less for that budgeted amount. Line 45 is the equipment amount, which was reduced in half compared to last year because we were able to get the bus rate program and tablets in hand. And so that amount represents the Strong Signals radio tower rental payment and a couple of projected repairs because those bus radios tend to be rather expensive. 46 is the dues and fees that we mentioned earlier. And then going all the way down there to line 51, that additional gasoline or energy line represents the gas that we put into the vans that staff use for different purposes throughout the year. Any questions on that cluster of the majority of the transportation accounts.
What memberships or dues do bus drivers need to pay?
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were going to ask me what DEF was.
I know the answer.
He knows that one.
I believe singularly it's the MAPT membership, which is the main association of people that do transportation.
Very close.
I was trying to read your lips. It was
Main Association of People Transportation.
It sounded really close. I'm just going to say that. So that represents the dues for Sheena as our Director of Transportation. But unlike many of the other memberships, it includes the annual conference, which is a nice bonus.
There's also regionals that are included with that too. That is twice a year. We have in April, and then again, actually, I'm sorry, there's 3 more. One in April, another one in June, and another one in July. That are all 3 days long. That are covered.
Great question, Scott. Other questions?
So that actually kind of touches upon my question. Why is travel? What was the travel reimbursement for $400, and then the travel for professional development $1,200? And where are those conferences?
So I've gotten a scholarship for the conference that I just went to. I came back from today. And I have gotten that, so I was only needed to be reimbursed for the fuel going up there. That is uncertain, obviously, until the conference rolls around, so that money is there in the event that I cannot get the room paid for, essentially.
Where is there?
Rockport.
Okay, thank you.
And
all
travel.
All the other conferences are close enough where I'd go for the day. So that's the only one that's way out there that I wouldn't be traveling to.
And travel reimbursement can also represent, like, if our mechanic makes a trip to Napa, he puts in for the mileage to get reimbursed for that.
Anybody else? Questions?
Maybe I'm jumping ahead, but we have this other sheet that has a breakdown.
Yeah, that's the one I mentioned earlier, Scott. So
Okay.
it partners with the budget summary that Sheena had done.
Because I mean the amounts listed on this sheet are different than what is in the budget. So could you just clarify that one more time?
That comparison was done a year to date. So that I put together at our not this past facilities and maintenance meeting. No.
I missed the one.
Yeah,
year to date.
the one that was before finance facilities. Thank you. That was year to date.
I think we just anticipated the question, like, how's that going? Because it was a pretty significant change this year that we went forward with when you all were deliberating on that lease and then decided to move forward with it. We wanted to make sure that we had as actual information in front of you as possible.
I just had a small thing. Do we have, Sam made me think of it with the Napa run for parts. Do we have accounts set up with places like Sewell's and Napa for not only discounts on parts, but free delivery as well?
Yep. So we have an account with Napa, Sturdy Hardware. We have one with Traction and Cressy, and they deliver for free.
Where do you get the tires from?
Main Commercial Tire.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Bus cameras, where does that line live, Sam?
I believe it's your contracted services line. Is that right?
Yes. Yep. So Armor is the subscription fee for our camera software.
Okay.
So the equipment is already paid for. They've already installed
Okay. Yeah,
all of
I
that.
figured that, but we have to, as far as maintenance goes, and
Yeah, so it's really neat with their maintenance, or if we needed support, they're 24/7, and we've had one time where we needed to call and be like, this isn't connecting, we're not getting any signal, and they walked Matt right through a loose wire that we found. Yep.
And how about the bus mapping system?
Bus right?
Yeah, bus
Yep,
right.
I think
Yeah, I
that
saw
was
that.
also.
But
Yep.
that's the bus right, right?
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
I'll give it another second because I see you all looking thoughtfully still.
All right, that concludes 8 then.
Oh, did anybody
Oh,
have
wait.
a question? I'm so
Oh, you
sorry,
have
Nicole.
two more,
I didn't
right?
mean to
Two
cut
more
you off. Yeah,
clusters. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, so it's just line 52, which is special ed transportation. So it's private transportation that we provide for our students that require that. And then line 53, you'll notice it's budget neutral between the two, but line 53 has been adjusted up because we no longer receive the McKinney-Vento grant, which provided some offset to our homeless transportation costs. So that's to be in line with actuals. And that was a volatile grant. It shifted quite a bit year to year in what we receive for support anyway. So every year we just take a look at that, look at actuals, and make adjustments as needed between those two.
Could you go into detail about the special ed transportation a little bit? I mean, as far as like we subcontract for that, right? We outsource for that. Like, have we thought about potentially hiring another bus driver or getting a couple vans or something to take on that expense on our own? Or is that something we can do? $185,000, and I assume you could also cover homeless transportation with that same. I mean, that's pretty good chunk. That's $200,000. Is there?
So there's a couple. Oh, sorry, Sheena. No, there's just a couple of things, right? With that, like obviously, like Sheena, you might have more of like the logistics aspect of things. Do you know what I mean in regards to the transportation that's needed to make that happen? I mean, when we talk about out of district placements, they're, I don't want to say all over the place, but they're all over the place, right? It's not. Sometimes they're relatively close. Sometimes they're not. And then Justin would have maybe more information in regards to. You know, again, I don't know if it's logistics or like, you know, working with Gordon's transportation in the past and how that has kind of worked. So I don't know. Sheena, do you want to start? And then I'm just thinking about like if, yeah.
Yeah,
quiet.
so I was asked to put together what I would project to take on just special ed transportation, not McKinney-Vento as well. That was 2 years ago, but I could get that information on what it would look like to take that on.
Yeah, that would be, I didn't realize that. That was a couple of years ago, Sheena? Oh, interesting. Yeah, it'd be good to dig that up if you don't mind.
Do you have any idea how many vans they use? How many employees that are specific to our district?
We can get that information for
Yeah,
you.
I don't know either, Scott. That's a good question.
I mean, if it's 3 vans and 3 employees, I mean, they use minivans. Like, I'm spitballing here. I don't
Oh,
know,
of course. Yeah, yeah.
Like, I feel like if you look at bus driver salary and all that is included in that, it make. I mean, even if you break even and you're doing it all in house, I don't know. It's just.
No, I mean it's good to ask the question, Scott. We can definitely reach out to Marcia and find out, you know, how many drivers she employs and, you know, the routes and the time that goes with that. That's no problem. I don't know, Justin, if you had something to add to that.
There's also
He's
aids too
good.
that are common on a van. Would be adding not a bus aid, a van aid. Sometimes that is in the student's IEP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, something
Yeah,
additionally.
and
sorry.
sometimes the transportation service is ambulatory. It's certainly more rare, but
Right.
it's more expensive too.
I know we've looked at it in the past, like when we've put it out to bid and to see what we're getting, you know, making sure that we're getting a fair dollar, a fair turn for our dollar. And the trouble is I think the last number that we looked at, we were looking at 7 or 8 new drivers and 7 or 8 new vans. And then it was the part about, I think, Sheena, we had talked about the ability for Gordon to just go at the drop of a hat and pick up a student. And talking to other districts in the area that do have their own system, they can't do that because once their drivers are turned free, we have to call them back, and then we have to pay for them, to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gordon's just a flat rate per mile, right?
I don't know that information. That'd
Yeah,
be a
I'm
Justin
pretty
question,
sure
I
it's just a
think.
flat rate per mile. And we don't have, insurance costs and maintenance costs on the van and all that. We have looked at it in the past, but it's well worth looking at it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just a wonder, like, I know with out of district placements, we pay their tuition whether or not they're there. So we have to pay for the entire year. Is that the same with transportation?
Justin, do you know?
I don't believe so, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I mean, if they don't make the run, I don't think we pay for the trip for the day. But let me confirm that for you.
I appreciate it, Justin. Thank you. We'll add it to the requests for information. It's good. Appreciate you bringing it up, Scott. Thank you.
I could just say one more thing, kind of speaking to what Robbie was saying. The current folks we work with are super flexible, and I've worked in other districts where we've had it in-house, and I just would have to say I haven't seen that level of flexibility and able to support the run. So there's a lot to it, like obviously the cost and all that piece of it, but in terms of being able to meet the needs of the kids that need special transportation, it goes pretty smoothly here compared to other experiences is all I guess I could add. So
thank you.
Any other questions for transportation? All right, thank you. Before we move on, I'm going to call a 5-minute break, and I want to chat about the agenda for them. 5 minutes.
Yes.
Correct.
Wait, unless you did you have a question, bud? Yes.
Is that? It's
Yeah.
just a bus driver salary. I see.
Yeah.
And do they still do those runs even if the buses are empty? I heard rumor that
No.
if there's days where there's nobody to transport.
Are you saying like do we still have the run go and
Yeah.
to LRTC and come back?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I feel
I've heard we're making the run even though there's nobody to transport.
no.
Well, there might be times when we have to go pick people up, and you'll see the bus go by empty.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
that's
yeah.
that's well
Each
said,
run
Robbie.
will either go or come back empty because
Yeah.
they're dropping them off and picking them up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
someone might see that and make a conclusion.
No, but I mean it's a good question, Scott, and I would hate to have the perception out there that we just run a run with nobody on it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not the case.
Well, I definitely want to find out about the contracted services.
Yeah.
If nobody is there to transport, do we pay for it? Because in my world, if I send a driver and there's nothing to pick up, I still get
Yeah.
compensated.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have a hard time believing that they just because they're paying a driver, they're paying
Yeah.
for the vehicle
could
to
be.
idle and what have you. So
We'll
there's got to
confirm,
be some
Scott.
sort of compensation.
Yeah,
for that.
we'll confirm.
It's zero
but
issue, Scott.
I
Yeah.
process the invoices, and I'm pretty sure I've seen like a no-show charge, like
Yeah.
a seat charge is what they call it. So I'll confirm that and just make sure. But I do believe that we are responsible if we like arrange that transportation. That if
Yeah,
the
and
person's
I just
not
want
there,
to just remind you. I think what we're kind of looking for a breakdown. How many drivers? How many vehicles?
Sure.
Yeah,
Even
this
in
is
how
this
many
is what I
hours
noted
how many hours are
for
we
the Bill
paying
Gordon's
for?
request. I noted how many employees that are servicing our RSU, right?
Mhm.
How many vans? What's the costing for that? And then are we paying for no shows?
Was there something else, Scott? Part of that you could think of?
I mean, I guess it would be built into the. I'm just curious the amount of hours that they're working.
Yep. Hours.
And
Yeah.
I was gonna. Go ahead, Christy.
probably how many runs, because I'm guessing that there's drivers that may transport kids that have an earlier start time than a later start time for some of these. Yeah, I think that's the case. And knowing that sometimes this contracted services are for our own schools, and then they transport for out-of-district placements as well. And just the total mileage, because I think there are out-of-district placements that are closer, and then there's some that are an hour away.
Yeah.
What do you mean by between schools? They
Yeah,
transport-
so like sometimes in a kiddo's IEP, they may not be able to ride the school bus. So Bill Gordon's may transport
From
2 or
home.
3 of our students from home to like the middle school. And
That's right.
then after that drop off, they may go and pick up a kiddo that has an out-of-district placement whose school starts at 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that point up about bringing them to school because it's not just out of district placements. Thanks, Christy.
I was just going to add to that, like locations to where we're transporting them to, and if there's, I don't know if it would help get a better picture of it, but scheduling of when those students need to be there. You know,
Like
if
the start times for the programs.
Yeah,
would
if
that
it's
be
like
helpful?
all over the place, or if it's generally around the same time. You know, so we can get a better picture of like grouping a larger van or something.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, like, that's a really big data request,
Yeah.
so that might take some time to put together. Happy to do it. It's
One
just not going to be something we can turn around in a week, I'm guessing. So.
I guess if everyone else agrees that, or not, that just don't.
Oh no, just
it is.
usually I think we're accustomed to everything you ask us
Yeah.
for in a meeting. We try to turn it back to you the week after. So I'm just not confident that we can put that together in a week. So I just want you to know, like, that's probably not a realistic timeline for that amount of information.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even
Happy to
realistic
do
that
it.
we get rid of it right away. I mean,
Sure.
it would take time to hire staff and
Right.
Uh,
I think it's
vehicles and
it
everything
is.
else to put that program
But
together.
you want our
It is
eye on alternatives.
zero issue.
And,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's important to take a look
Well,
at
I
it,
mean,
right? There's
$200,000.
nothing wrong to look at it.
And
You
I
know.
think there's other pieces outside of the transportation that the transportation company provides to families that we would have to absorb. So like the communication, the scheduling, all of the things that the folks at Bill Gordon's do for families that utilize them, that doesn't happen in the district. would be an additional cost that we're not going to just see with the drivers and the vans. Like we would have to have an additional potential quarter or halftime or even more to be able to do all of those things as well.
Justin had something.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the no-shows again one more time. When you asked the question in my mind, I was thinking about, like, we have multiple kids on a van sometimes, and so like if one of them doesn't come, there's like a seat charge. So to go back up a little bit, for no-shows, that we are charged, but they communicate really well with us if kids aren't showing up, and then we would call an IEP team, talk about that. Sometimes we stop sending transportation because we're getting charged every day and the kids aren't showing up. So just to clarify that a little bit, I was thinking about it a little differently when you first asked the question, but we do keep an eye on that, and they let us know regularly if there's an issue.
Yeah, it's Matt. I know in the past when we looked at it, the question was asked, we might go to the same property multiple times for different students. One might be out of placement, one might be going to a school at an early start time, one might be going to a school at a later start time. So different drivers would be picking up those students. So coordinating that isn't always an easy task. And like Christy said, to have somebody else do that in the district, that all adds to whatever the cost is. But it's great to look at.
I agree with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with
we've
looking
looked at it many
0
times
10.
over the years.
I mean, we have a director of transportation, and some of the softwares we're purchasing make logistics a whole lot easier for anybody to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a adult education director that can work with, some of the communication with home. I mean, I don't know.
It's zero issue to look at it, Scott. No problem whatsoever. We can get the information, and then we can hash it out from there. That's no problem. All right, where are we? Are we cost center 9? Yeah. Oh.
No, I think we're all set. We can continue with.
Let's keep it rolling. All right, cost center 9. Let me just back up here because I flipped ahead in our conversation. Cost center 9. So slide 20. Facilities and maintenance. So on slide 21, you'll see that cost center 9 is facilities and maintenance staff. We have our half of our director of operations. He also does school nutrition, so the other half of him is there. We have our head custodians, both morning and afternoon, and our school resource officer contract lives in this cost center. Slide 22, we have cost center 9 again. Other expenditures include snow removal, repairs and maintenance, custodial supplies, our energy, liquid propane, oil, and electricity, our energy performance contracts and project payments, equipment, utilities such as water and sewer, telephone, insurance for both building and contents, and facility inspection and services. Let's see. Slide 23, cost center notes, our PFML premiums for all staff, health insurance premium increases for all staff, negotiated increases for all staff, projected 10% increase for building and contents insurance, an increase of 16% to school resource officer contract. Also included in this is our SRRF payment added for Libby Tozier Secure Vestibule Project, and new grounds and fields maintenance lines that formerly lived in cost center number 4. Slide 24, again, gives you the comparison between fiscal year 26 and 27. So fiscal year 26, we had $3,068,894. Our proposed fiscal year 27 is $3,228,044, and that's an increase of $149,150. Any questions about cost center number 9? Overview. Seeing none, we'll move on to the line by line with Sam.
So just a bit about the structure of this budget report. You do have lines per school, so Carrie Ricker Middle School, just like we've done with some of the other cost centers, but you also have like an office of the director cluster of accounts and then a central office physical location cluster of accounts at the end. So we'll go through each of those. Before we jump into the details per school, you will notice some consistent comments for many of the discretionary lines school by school. So like we've done in some of the other cost centers, we'll do kind of a detailed dive in Carrie Ricker and go through those a little bit more in depth. And then it'll be a lot of redundancy with some of the other schools, and I'll point out nuances throughout of how they differ school to school. Just some other things to note. There's not a ton of comments in those discretionary lines, but I do just want to front load the information by saying that, you know, Sean has done a great job of coming on board and analyzing, you know, particularly the utilities and fuel lines, and making sure that he's adjusting what's been in the budget and preparing for next year to be in line with what he anticipates. So again, some of those comments will be redundant, but yeah, just a few notes before we jump in. So starting with Carrie Ricker, line 1 through 12 represents the custodial staff at Carrie Ricker School. So you've got a half of a head custodian and 2.75 custodians. So we do have some part-time custodial employees throughout the district. That line is actually down compared to last year because we've had some slight shifts in allocation of custodial staff between Libby Tozier and Carrie Ricker. So you'll see that the salary line at Libby Tozier is up compared to Carrie Ricker being down, and that's just that movement of the number of custodians changed over last year. Starting with line 13 are the discretionary lines for Carrie Ricker, and as I said, we'll move through these at a little bit slower pace for this first school. So purchase services snow removal, that is up just a little bit, I believe. I will double check to make sure, but the contract for this year is static and the price isn't changing, but we went out to bid for that at a time of year where we had already put the amount in the budget and the budget was moving forward. So that is a reflection of what the contract is, not an adjustment to it year to year. Line 14 is purchase property services. So this represents our inspections in the buildings for, you know, different things like the elevators and fire extinguishers, things like that. It also represents this school's share of our HVAC service agreement. And then it also represents the payment amounts for our energy phase projects that we have. Line 15 is repair and maintenance. And as I mentioned, Sean has evaluated those and adjusted them as need be. So you'll see that that repair and maintenance line is up a little bit, just responding to the fact that we've already fully expended Carrie Ricker repair and maintenance at this point in the year, and I believe Libby Tozier as well. So you'll see those adjustments throughout. Line 16 is the Carrie Ricker portion of the building and contents insurance package, and we anticipate a 10% increase to that portfolio, as we've noted throughout various cost centers. No adjustment to the telephone services line at Carrie Ricker. Travel reimbursement has been adjusted slightly to be in line with actuals, so that represents our head custodian that goes back and forth daily between the buildings responding to needs at the schools. Supply line is consistent at Carrie Ricker, that request. And then line 20 through 23, again, that represents our different energy lines. So fuel for equipment, I believe during finance and facilities, Sean noted that he has now set up a system where the diesel for the tractors, they're getting directly from Litchfield and Sabatis, so utilizing a much lower cost per gallon for diesel than going down to the store and picking that up, which was the practice in the past. And then electricity, liquid propane, and oil. With finance and facilities today, Sean reviewed all of our contracting and what we're locked in for pricing. So we're fortunate to have not only a relatively low electricity rate, comparable certainly to what we were paying before we got that lower rate locked in through FY27, but we also contract with a solar farm, and we receive credits on our CMP bill that we pay 90% of, so we're getting a discount on some of our electricity that we use as well. And that was a contract that was in place even before I started. Slight adjustment to the LP energy line. and adjusting down the oil line, because all that's used for at Carrie Ricker, I believe, is to run the generator. Sean looked at all of the district-wide equipment lines. So there's a custodial equipment line at Carrie Ricker and at every school, and he looked at those collectively and tried to identify what was the total that might suit the needs of equipment needs throughout the district. And no requests for membership dues and fees there at Carrie Ricker. Any questions on the Carrie Ricker Maintenance Cost Center?
I do.
Or finance and facilities, any questions that you want to speak to that I didn't speak to well?
Can you explain this travel reimbursement a little bit more? So you said it was for the head custodian traveling between buildings?
Yeah, typically.
Which building?
So Carrie Ricker and Libby Tozier share a head custodian, and that employee is back and forth between those buildings as needed. So if there's a call for something, you know, they're utilizing their personal vehicle to get back and forth, and then they submit for their mileage reimbursement by contract.
$1,600. What's that, Scott? Oh, sorry. That's what I was gonna ask. Like $1,600 for between those two buildings. That seems a little high.
We can look at it.
How many miles are? Yeah, but how many miles are being reimbursed, and then how many? Can we buy a golf cart instead?
Oh yeah, I mean it's multiple trips a day when
Multiple
I'm reviewing
day.
the mileage reimbursement. Yeah.
Let's buy a golf cart instead. It's a one-time cost. And
I
electricity.
I do know we've
Which line
encouraged
is
in the
that? I'm
past
sorry, I
to.
missed it.
It's in
18.
travel reimbursement.
18.
Thank you.
It's $1,600, and it was 2,000 budgeted. But it looks like our actual was only $829.91 the year before. I mean, obviously, depends on what's occurring at the buildings. I mean, Libby Tozier last year was needy.
We look into it. That's
Yeah,
not a
and
problem.
I think we budgeted a little bit more last year, anticipating the SPS closure, because there was a lot of back and forth, you know, with that closure and preparing for the yard sale and doing different things like that.
I mean, we
Yeah.
saw that we saw that same travel reimbursement in previous cost centers.
Mm-hmm.
$2,000 between Libby
No,
Tozier and Carrie
no,
Ricker.
no, but it's
Yeah.
in other cost centers as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anywhere that you see staff that go between buildings, you'll see that travel reimbursement built in there. Mm-hmm.
If we're reimbursing at the federal rate, which is 55 cents a mile, it's 2,909 miles.
Yeah, it's not 55 cents a mile.
74?
It's 70.
75.
Yeah, it's
71.
75.
Yeah, it's up to
71.5.
75.
Might want to work on your contract, Christy.
And I'm talking 2025 was 75. I haven't looked for 26 yet. Yeah, it's still a lot of miles.
How many miles is that?
It was 75 and 25. I don't know what it is.
How about I'm happy to look into it. We can look
Yeah,
into
right.
it
It's
and
zero
get back
issue.
to the board. That way we
Yeah.
don't eat up some more time with it. I
Yep.
know it's getting late.
Christy.
And I mean, it's not just the reimbursement, right? Like you have to have people to process those, which takes time and energy.
Any other questions for Carrie Ricker?
I don't think so.
Okay. So line 26 starts the middle school custodial cluster of accounts. And down through 38 is the end of the salary and benefit line. So this staffing is the same as it is this year currently. So we have one head custodian, 3 custodians at the middle school. And then the discretionary lines start with line 39 and continue to line 52. So very, very similar lines there. So same story with snow removal and purchase property services, all of those reviewed and analyzed. But number 41 is distinct. Carrie Ricker does not have water and sewer. So the middle school and the high school, the middle school and the high school are on water and sewer. So we receive those utility bills, and those account codes are for those schools specifically. Libby Tozier and Carrie Ricker on well service. Line 42, repair and maintenance, adjusted up, again, to be responsive to needs within the district. Line 43 is also distinct from the cluster of accounts that we reviewed at Carrie Ricker. So we talked when we went over Cost Center 4 about grounds and fields maintenance services moving into Cost Center 9 to be in line with best practice. So that's a new expense line in FY27. We wanted to keep it distinct and separate from other repair and maintenance lines so that it was, easy to kind of pick out. So those are the monies moving from the middle school athletic lines into Cost Center 9. So again, not new monies budgeted, but moved monies. And you'll remember that Cost Center 4 was down pretty significantly. 10% for insurance in line 44. And then similar, analysis and adjustment to fuel and energy lines. And a slight reduction to the equipment line in 52. So you'll notice that that cluster of accounts is up, pretty high compared to what we saw with Carrie Ricker. So remember that Carrie Ricker budgeting for staff went down a little bit. Middle school stayed consistent, and the middle school took on, $12,000 in field and maintenance costs from Cost Center 4. Questions on middle school lines?
Where does this custodian travel to?
The middle school?
Yeah, you want to speak to that, Sean? I think there's a little bit left in for the middle school travel reimbursement. Is that like to and from here and other trips to schools? Long hold.
Yeah, long hold.
Once, can you
There
hear
you
me?
go.
Sean, you got it.
Yeah, so the middle school, we do have meetings at central office at times as team meetings. So that employee will travel here at times. Usually that's about once a month, not during the summer, but usually during the school year. And then it could be a travel to, to pick up a supply that if I'm not available or has to go pick something up. So.
Thanks, Sean. I still think that's high. We're only 5 miles. I'm really bad at mileage. I think a quarter mile is like 3 miles. I don't know. And then I think 5 miles is, like 1 mile. I feel like that's still a lot. I don't know if there's any data requests we can pull for that. How often?
Yeah, I just noted the middle school with the same.
Okay, thank you.
Marker. I'm assuming we'll just look at all of it.
Yeah, I don't
look at
know
the actuals.
quite
It's not
know
an
exactly
issue.
what to ask for if it's a little bit more varied, versus the regular, between the two. But yeah, whatever you can find.
I think it's the actuals will tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the actuals for that particular line will be different this year compared
Oh,
to
that's right.
previous because it used to be a
Sabatis
shared head
Primary.
custodian with Sabatis Primary
That's right.
before that closed. So there was a lot more back and forth then, and you'll see that like the budget amount was reduced as well with that closure.
That's interesting because they're traveling further between Oak Hill Middle School and Sabatis Primary last year, and that's only 1,000. And between Libby Toja and Carrie Ricker is 2,000, and they're right
No, this year's Sabatis Primary is closed.
right. But yes, but the budget amount. We budgeted more for the travel between Carrie Ricker and Libby Toja than we did for the travel between Oak Hill Middle School and Sabatis, and those two are actually not next to each other.
They're probably a little further. Double the distance.
More than 1,400 feet, Scott.
Probably. Can we get a golf cart to go between Libby Toja and Carrie Ricker?
That's what I said.
Put
It's a
some
one-time
snow tires
cost,
on
though.
that bad boy.
I mean,
Have you seen the cost of golf cart batteries? They have 6 in them.
Do we have a side-by-side at Libby Toja Carrie Ricker?
No.
I don't know.
Yes, we do.
I thought we
Yeah.
did.
Oh, there you go.
I think when the weather is fair, we encourage the custodian to utilize that. You just can't drive it all year round.
And again, I'll say, with not with anybody in maintenance in the school district, no maintenance employees, then there are times when they have to go pick up something, say it's 30s, or, you know, we just don't have that ability to, you know, we just have to have them do that at times.
Yeah, which is understandable. I just, you know, maybe we can get that
That's
part of the
yeah,
data quest
that
to
makes
see
sense.
exactly how often that's happening.
Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all I have.
All right, so our next school or cluster of accounts is Libby Tozier. So starting with line 53 and continuing to line 64 are the salary and benefit lines for the custodial staff at that school. So this is kind of the partner to Carrie Ricker, where you'll see this shift, but in the other direction for the custodial staff. So the other half of the head custodian, and then 2.75 custodians here at Libby Tozier. Again, so this is the shift upwards rather than down that you saw at Carrie Ricker. And then very similar discretionary lines, but we'll pause at line 66. So the purchase property services account is where any correlated SRRF payments, school revolving renovations fund projects payments are applied. So you'll see that that line has jumped pretty significantly, in part to adjust to the actuals at Libby Tozier for purchase property services outside of SRRF, but in most part to putting in that payment for the secure vestibule project. So that is budgeted for right now. And the finance and facilities team discussed that a little bit tonight, and you know, we need to decide as a board what the plan for that project is, as when we received the award, it was an adjusted amount, so they've excluded some of the budgeted requests that we had put in the application. So we talked about that in detail at finance and facilities, but that decision needs to be forthcoming from the board, kind of in conjunction with your budget process, because those warrants go out at the same time, and the ballot is slated for the same referendum date. Again, looking at line 67, this is repairs and maintenance. This line has been adjusted up. Again, this is a line that has already for FY26 been fully expended, and that's been a pretty consistent story for Libby Tozier in the past. So it's a pretty modest increase compared to the actuals that we've expended there. Same 10% for property and casualty insurance. And then when you look at line 71, that supply line has been increased at Libby Tozier, because the difference between pre-K and kindergarten and first grade just means you have more students in the building daily compared to FY25. So it was increased a little bit last year, and it needs to be increased a little bit more now that we've had those students in the building. And then same with all of the energy lines reviewed, analyzed by Sean, and adjusted as needed. Any questions at Libby Tozier?
Same question with line 70, travel reimbursement, $700.
Yep, it's I've got it. I've just travel reimbursement for the cost center. We'll take a look at it. Thank you. Any other Libby Tozier questions? Okay.
Before you
Yep.
continue, Sam, am I late for a motion to extend?
I
Or are
think
we on
we
the same
finished the
topics?
agenda item that we're on, and then if you want to do another agenda item beyond
Then we
that,
have
like,
to-
you don't have to extend if we're in the middle of a
Topic,
agenda
the
item,
agenda
but if
item.
you want to go on to the next, then you need a motion to extend after.
All right, thank you. I just
But I
wanted
can
to-
pick up the pace if you'd like.
No, I'm not rushing you.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm following what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
That's all.
All right. Well, this next one will be quick. Line 76 through 98, that's Sabatis primary, so that is zeroed out. So last year we did leave a tiny bit in there to cover the building remaining open and in our possession until the transfer of ownership, but that's been zeroed out. Go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, Sam, can you explain to me what last year's actual budget amount was for maintenance at Sabatis?
Yeah. So it was 6,500, And so we just had a kind of spaghetti at the wall figure for utilities and services
All right,
that
no,
we.
I'm talking about the year before. What we spent
Oh.
before we closed the building. What were we spending?
431.
Yeah.
610.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would be your third column.
All right, 431.
Yep.
And that was in 24, 25?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so explain to me how we took almost $500,000 out of the budget and we're getting a $159,000 increase in this budget.
So remember that when we closed SPS, the staff didn't go with it. So I don't believe we had reductions to staff. I think maybe it was only one. Let me think this through. I just want to make sure I'm stating it correctly.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Because people are going to say you closed the building.
Yeah.
And you cut all that maintenance out.
Yeah.
But we still got a $159,000 increase.
Right. Okay. So I see what you're saying. So I think if a different way of thinking of that is if the building was still open,
Right.
you'd have this much more still in the
Right, yeah,
budget,
I-
right?
I get
less the staffing cost because you wouldn't have redundant staffing. So we didn't eliminate staffing. I don't believe in. I think we cut some hours, but not a position in maintenance, food service, but all the instructional and support staff and whatnot stayed. So staffing just moved into different places to support the same students
But
that needed
there
that.
was
Yeah, but like.
there was a cut in fuel, electricity.
Yeah, oh yeah, yep.
And all that. Can you get that number for us?
Yep. Yeah.
What
mhm.
the actual money that we should be saving
Mhm.
in that line is?
It's in there. It's in part of the 431. You've got energy, you've got oil, you got
Right.
electricity. you
I'm
got-
just looking to get it all consolidated, Scott, to one number.
Mhm. So you want the amount without the staffing?
Right, yes.
Okay. Yep.
The amount without the staffing.
'Kay.
Because I know somebody's going to say that, we cut one whole building out. And why are we having 159,000? I know that it would be more if we hadn't, closed the building.
Because
But
the
I
oth-
just I'd like to have that number ready.
I will
Go
also
for it, Matt.
I said I know what you're asking, Robbie, but I think the answer would be because right now I've lost my page. $83,353.96 at the middle school, and then if you keep going, we haven't gotten to it yet, but $159,149.72 increase at. Is that system wide?
Yeah, that's the whole
Okay.
schmiggy.
All right, so that's the total number. I don't need to go through building by building.
Yeah, I mean, my summary at the end was going to say like that 159,000, like some chunky pieces of that. You've got 28,000 that is not new money, but came in from Cost Center 4 with the fields and grounds, right? So that was in Cost Center 4. Now it's in Cost Center 9. You also have a substantial increase to one line to the SRO, right? You've got a $23,000 increase to
Right.
that contract for next year. So that's, we're upwards of 50,000 already. You get a 10% increase to all of the insurance for buildings and contents, so that hits every physical plant that we have. You also have the SRF payment for Libby Tozier that wasn't in there before, which was, I think we said 29,000 tonight was that payment for a
Correct.
10-year loan. Yep. And then you just have some other kind of incremental increases that tick up, like staff and benefits and the PFML that's in there and different things like that. So.
I'd just like us to be ready
Mhm.
when the question gets asked, because it's going to
Okay.
get asked.
Yep.
Right.
I
It's
appreciate that.
It would have been 159 plus this, plus
Plus.
this, plus
Correct.
this, right?
Right.
And that's what we need to be
Yes,
prepared
that's
to
what we need
explain.
to
So
be
like
able to explain.
if you filled in all of the Sabatas primary
Correct.
lines with what they would have been if it had been open, right? Then you'd be adding that into
Right.
your increase.
Right, because you're
Yep.
still going to see increases, right? That's what we're experiencing and
Yep.
why we're struggling with keeping this budget flat.
Yep.
Yeah,
just
we'd be
costs
a
go
lot
up.
higher than 1.42% year over year. That's for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
A lot higher.
Yeah.
'Cause actually, the only savings that we would see would be in fuel, lighting, things that we aren't
Lock
carrying
in
over.
prices and
right.
or get. Mhm. Yep.
All right, thank you.
No, I appreciate the explanation. All right. Line 99 starts the high school maintenance lines, that cluster of accounts. So for staffing and benefits, you've got 1 head custodian and 4 custodians at the high school. That's the same staffing structure as FY26. And the benefit lines carry through to line 111. So the next page starts your discretionary lines at the high school. And these are very similar to the middle school discretionary lines. So you have all the same ones as Carrie Ricker and Libby Tozier, but you also have line 114, which is water and sewer. You have line 116, which is the new grounds and fields maintenance line that came over from Cost Center 4. Yeah, and the rest of those are very similar to what we've talked about. So if you see anything that catches your eye that you want to draw a question out, please, I'll pause here and you can just let us know.
Just the same data request add-in for travel info.
Sean, have we ever looked at contracting out lawn service? Do you know?
We do contract some to through the central office currently.
Okay.
And that's all I know of recently anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
We a few years back, I know we had.
We looked at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the high school? Okay. So line 126 starts the system-wide lines. So these are a little funky. Just going to talk you through them. So they end in the number 900. That is district-wide, according to the state, right? So our director of operations is a district-wide employee. He services the entire district. He does work here at the central office, but all of the utilities and actual repairs and maintenance for the central office are in the next cluster of accounts. So you can see that they used to be in 900. Some of them used to be in the central office cost center, but we've really tried hard to allocate things where they need to be. So really, this next cluster of represents the salary for our director of maintenance. So there's been a shift here, just recognizing the split in workload. It used to be 3/4 in maintenance and 1/4 in nutrition, but both of those departments are large departments and require quite a bit of oversight, so we split it 50-50 this year rather than 75-25. And then the related tax and benefit lines for that position go through line 135. And then lines 136 through 139 represent specific lines for the Director of Transportation. So there were some membership requests for, there's a lot of acronyms there, and I don't think I remember any of them, but dues for specific organizations relative to Sean's work. And then also attending some conferences for those different associations, I believe. Sean, did you want to speak to any of that? Because I don't want to murder that. Just throw acronyms out there and not.
Yeah, that's basically memberships, professional development for different certifications that I have and different trainings that I go to. That's just to mainly keep abreast on new information, whether it's maintenance, as we don't have maintenance employees in this district, so you have to stay up to date on whether it's compliance or code changes or upcoming code changes or sustainability or new school construction or windows and doors that we're working on right now and different RFPs and things like that. So
yeah, thank you. And then line 140 is another district-wide service that we have. It's our contracted SRO. So this was the 16% increase that we noted in the overview in the presentation. So that line is up 23,000 over last year. I believe it's relative to new negotiated salaries for our SRO through their employer. Did you have any other detail on that, Marco? I don't know if it was exclusive to that.
No, it's exactly that. Okay. Exactly. Contract with Androscoggin County.
All right, any
and
questions?
Updated negotiations.
Matt?
Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to ask, that's quite a big jump year to year, and especially with it being only a year old. So I just didn't know if there's any follow-up we can get on that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm happy to ask, further information, like, can you give us a breakdown as to, like, the salary increases, the insurance increases? That's not a problem, Matt.
Sure.
But that was communicated to us, it may have been the sheriff or the deputy sheriff, assistant sheriff, chief deputy. Is that what thanks, Sharon. Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, essentially, like, they gave us notice that this was what the change was going to be because of their negotiations. Yeah. Yeah. So they have a new contract, Matt. But I'm happy to get, like, more information about it. That's zero issue.
Yeah, it's sort of the same idea, but could we get some feedback from administrators and staff, like how this is even going? I mean,
Absolutely,
are we
Scott.
getting what we pay for?
Yeah.
I only see the RSO vehicle at the high school, never at the middle. Well, once, twice. I've seen it at the middle school. Like, are we? I don't know. Are we benefiting from that? What's the interaction with students? Is there, involvement in community involvement and getting that? I'm just curious on.
Of course.
I mean, for that, for 165,000, you could, hire 2 security guards at $80,000 a piece, one at the high school, one at the middle school. I mean, that's just facts. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to get feedback.
I mean, I would hope it's more, we're getting something more out of it than just, a safety security piece, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just in my interactions with the SRO and the work that he provides or does, it's extremely beneficial. I mean, and I say that because there's a side of things that, the school employees and district, administrators can't, delve into. We're not police officers is really what it comes down to. And so as far as, like, support is concerned in lots of situations, I can say that it's extremely beneficial, but I'm happy to, the principals work with him on the regular, really around attendance, custody, legal issues, that need his assistance. And, I would say that he's extremely valuable in that sense. That's me, but at the same time, Scott, I'm happy to get information from them, just like we did with the counselor split between the 2 buildings. I'm happy to give that information back to you guys. It's no problem.
And I don't remember, is this a year-to-year contract or was it a 3-year? It was a year-to-year. And are there negotiations year-to-year? So are they locked into that for maybe?
Can't imagine that it's it would be a year-to-year
3
contract for them,
years?
probably 3 years. Sharon's.
They're hired through Androscoggin County, so we don't have
Right, exactly. I'm
any
just
negotiations.
trying to forward
It's
look here for the next. Are we good for the next 3? Are we going to expect another 16% year after year?
Right, no,
That's what I'm.
I appreciate. Thanks, Sharon. I'll get it.
We'll get a C.
Look at
okay.
it.
Yeah, that's what we need. CBA. Thank you. Are we sure every district's paying the same amount? I don't know.
I mean, I would think so, but it is. I am. Yeah, but I am happy to find that out too, because yeah, I mean, we have relationships with the superintendents there. It's no problem. Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Before we have one last cluster.
We have 2 really quick ones.
Well,
we've got. Oh,
did we
sorry.
do
I
this?
apologize.
No,
I
we
was
did
skipping
not
ahead.
do central office, so
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
we can do that. So these are the accounts I noted that are kind of created in the last 3 years. A handful of them, anyway, the ones that were zeroed out. But these represent all of the costs of maintenance here at the central office. So not a lot of fluctuation from last year's budget, and a lot of similar things like, looking at the energy costs and making adjustment as needed, but a lot of static lines there. So questions on that smaller cluster of accounts?
No. Anybody good? We are fading
Really?
fast.
Geez, I'm ready to go. I'm like Matt last week. Matt was like, let's get it done.
I got a nap in this afternoon, so
See, Matt's good to go. You got a nap in.
All right, let's get through cost centers 10 and 11, which is still under the same agenda item, and then we will discuss our extension and plan. Not saying that we will extend. We will discuss the motion.
Sure. Zero issue. All right, so cost centers 10 and 11. These are going to go quickly. So there's just two slides there. Slide 25 and 26. So slide 25 just gives you the overview of it, and then slide 26 is debt service and all other expenditures summary, and you can see it's zero. So there's really not a whole lot to report out on that. We don't have any debt service. Yay, which is great, right? Debt free. And what about all other expenditures, Sam? How does that work?
Yeah, so that cost center formally was used to budget for an amount of money that was transferred into school nutrition to support the school nutrition program. So it was typically $100,000, $125,000. It kind of varied based on the school nutrition budget. But when I came on board, I had some conversations with folks at the DOE about that fund and school nutrition. Like, there is nothing preventing you from collecting the dollars that you need in school nutrition. So for the last several years, we have budgeted for the local dollars that we need to support school nutrition in school nutrition, and we haven't done that transfer since FY23.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. All right, so that ends the cost centers that we were going to review, I think, this evening. Let me look here just really quickly. Yeah, right. Oh, we do have capital
So
improvement
under this
plan, but-
agenda item, we have the capital improvement plan, and I think we need to delay that discussion, or we will be here.
I can give you like just what we were planning so you can think on it.
You want to just do that? We'll
It's
do
a
what
line.
we were
It's like
planning,
one line.
so you can think on
That
it,
way
and
you
we
can think
will
on it.
add
Go-
it
go
for
for it.
full
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah, do
So
next
we
one.
would
Yeah, we can do
recommend
that.
that we put $200,000 from fund balance into that capital reserve fund and start saving away some pennies to eventually plan for the repair or the replacement of the roof at Libby Tozier. We put in $150,000 specifically earmarked for the Libby Tozier soffit, fascia, siding,
Windows. Yep.
projects, which have been put to bid and working towards being awarded, and then the work coming to fruition this summer.
Nice. Thanks for that one-liner, Sam. Appreciate it.
I will say, though, if you have any data requests pertaining to this item, if you can get them to Sam within the next day or two so she could attempt to have it for the next meeting, which is what we're going to delay it for. How's that?
Sam's going to have it all done.
Trying
It's
to look
good.
out
Don't
here.
worry about it.
Okay, so now I need a motion to extend or we conclude. I'm gonna motion to extend to complete new business as listed on the agenda 7.1, 7.2, 7.3. And I think I would propose to roll that one into to next time. So only extend to do 7.1, 7.2, 7.3. Any critical committee reports. And that is it for this evening. That's what my motion is on the floor.
Whoa.
Discussion. You guys, go ahead, Teresa.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was all ready to.
I
She's
get-
ready to vote.
Right. So my thought is the first 3 and 7 will go super quick. Capital improvement won't. So we've already tabled that. And then if you have any critical committee things that need to be announced, I don't think we need to go through everything.
How long was the calendar really going to take?
Could take that was the last thing. So the calendar could take some time if there is any discussion regarding remote versus traditional, which did come up last year, and Christy did bring it up earlier in this season.
Boy, Christy. It's okay to bring it up. Just kidding with you. we can talk
Any-
about. Oh, you know what I was going to say? Can I just ask this question real quick? Actually, why don't you
Well,
why don't you
we
finish
are
your
in a
motion?
motion,
I'll be
so-
quiet. I can't even talk during this time. Go ahead.
So what are your thoughts? I mean, do you any other discussion you want to vote on that, or motion to amend? What do you guys want to do? All right, so motion on. I'm going to call for the vote here. No further discussion. The all those in favor of approving the motion as is. Sam's mathing. Oh.
Now we're cooked.
He was sleeping.
Robbie, you want to keep pushing on? You.
We're already here at 9:30. Yeah.
It passes. And all those opposed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I could vote, I'd vote too. Let's keep it rolling. Can I just really quickly ask this question, right? Could we just turn I know next week is a budget workshop. Is that
special.
something we could just do like as a regular board meeting, or not a regular
Special.
board meeting, a special board meeting,
Yeah.
so that we can just, there are items on here like the calendar,
Yep.
you know, things that way we can,
Yeah,
can
we
two
can-
birds, one stone.
Yeah, we can
All
talk
right.
about that tomorrow.
All right, great. Are we going to meet when?
Yes, ma'am.
Potentially.
Potentially, yes, potentially, yes. Once it's
6:30 and
finalized.
7. Although we can. I'll be quiet.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay. More to come on that. So, new business 7.1 to approve the contract renewal of administrator beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027. John Springer, Principal, Oak Hill High School.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Unanimous. 7.2 to approve the contract renewal of administrator beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027. Jan LaValle, Principal, Libby Tozier.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous. 7.3 to approve the contract renewal of administrator beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2028. Brian Daniels, Assistant Principal, Oak Hill Middle School.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Why does this one go for 2 years?
Because he's finished his probationary contract. Yep. 2 years of probationary before moving on to a 2-year contract. You got it.
Good question. Anybody else? Those in favor? It's unanimous. Okay. Are there any critical updates that need to be announced for the Finance and Facilities Committee, and who else and CAI
No.
tonight? No.
We should mention the SRF information, or
We're going to discuss that at another
Okay.
board meeting anyway. I just figured
Are we
Yeah, I mean,
just- is that part of the
we can add it
we
to
can
next
add
week.
that next
That's
meeting.
not a problem, Matt.
tack
Yeah.
it along with our capital improvement discussion?
Yeah,
maybe?
absolutely. Makes sense.
Okay. Board member comments?
Come on, there's none. I'm tired.
Yeah, right. Technically, I am not taking that away from you guys. Yes. All right. Without objection, the meeting is declared adjourned. 9:31 p.m. Thank you, everybody.